All right. We're live. There's no Abubaker yet, so we'll see if he actually shows up. He might just be fucking with me. Microblogganism's here though, so we can just talk for a little while until
Yay! we can do random stuff or something.
Yeah, we can talk about random things. We haven't talked before, actually. I don't think like voice to voice.
Not really, no.
What's new in your life, man?
I'm gonna be starting on my master's thesis, like doing the actual research and stuff on in September. So
Sweet.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Nice. So just so everybody knows, in case they didn't see it in the chat, Abubaker, like, he messaged me like an hour, maybe an hour, a little over an hour ago, saying, you know, let's get set up at 6:30 his time, which is about an hour ago now. And I sent him the link, and then he didn't reply. And I sent him a bunch of messages like, hey, man, you here yet? Like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, I went to university, and I've had trouble coming back home on time. I'm waiting for my bus. I can start at 7:30, which is 10 minutes from now. So it almost seems like he's just tacking on half-hour periods to fucking waste my time. Unclear. We will see. So don't expect anything, but there's a reason that I named this Abubaker Joins Me, I hope. Because I'm not 100% clear that the Twitter account is actually him. I'm not 100% clear that even if it is him, he won't get cold feet. He already had one instance in DMs of getting cold feet and saying he couldn't do it, but then backtracking, and he sent me like 7 messages, like as he gradually came to grips with the fact that he would be doing a live stream. I woke up to like 7, paragraph length messages about it. So
damn.
Yeah, he was having some internal conflicts apparently.
And making those internal conflicts external, it seems.
External to me for sure. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. But the thing is, I don't even want to, I don't want this to be like a hostile, like combative, confrontational kind of hangout.
No, I just want to talk with him.
I just want to talk with him because it's like he's, one of the more popular like people that I've responded to, and to me personally, he's like the best guy, the most lovable guy that I've responded to, other than John Morris Pendleton himself, who is like who would be like gold tier live stream material, I think.
But I mean, like, Pendleton is basically like he's basically like an uncle. Like he's your nice uncle.
Right.
That's my like that's the impression I get of him.
Abubaker's like my depressed younger brother. Yeah. Come on, man. He's 8 minutes to get here with the bus. It's complete bullshit. Like, there's no way. Like, he said this time was good, so why is he suddenly waiting for a bus and going to university? And it makes no sense to me.
It's also a bit late to go to university.
That's true, yeah. If he doesn't show, I'm just going to invite more people in and, have a hangout talking about something else. But I don't have anything else to talk about. I had no backup plan because honestly, I was like, it's a 50-50 shot. If I don't do it, I'll just figure something out or shut it down, one or the other.
Well, maybe someone in the chat has a question. I can get us started.
That's true. That's true. Let's see.
They seem to mainly just be saying hi. So,
what were you going to talk about anyway? I had no plan for that. I just wanted to talk to him. Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna debate with him. Like, if religion came up and if it turned into a debate or an argument on his terms, then I would be perfectly willing to do that. But that was not the plan. So I was kind of just gonna let it do what it does, because I feel like he's a little bit skittish. So it's kind of like I have to put on the kid gloves and just be like, okay, man, hi, you made it here. So let's have a nice little conversation and, work our way forward from there. Tell me about your sports teams that you like. He's into soccer, you see. So I'd be like, hey, tell me about the sporting events.
The sports ball.
Yeah, what's new in the sports ball? That's probably where I would start.
Yeah,
And then
that
I'd go,
seems like
I understand. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Let me see. Hey, are we going to hear the cat? It's not that I don't care about everything else. I just want to hear the cat. Cat's out of the room. And good riddance, because he would be noisy.
He's not out of the bag. He's out of the room.
He's not out of... What?
Cat's out of the bag.
Oh,
My
god
attempt to
damn
make
it. That was such a dad joke, I didn't even get it.
Wait,
You could
and
call
you're
and
the
then...
dad here.
What?
You're the one who's a dad.
Yeah, but even I didn't get that dad joke. It's too dad for me. Okay, let me see. Yes, sure, you could start, and then I will join you. Won't be too long. I had no internet connection to notify you at 6:30. That's what he says. It's 7:30, more or less, his time for the person who asked that in the chat. Let us sip some tea. What is the next YouTube video going to be on? Oh, that's good. It's how the Legend of Zelda proves God.
Wait, what?
You'll like it.
I'm confused by it, so probably.
I can explain the argument if you like.
Please do.
Yeah, so Link, you know Link from Legend of Zelda?
Yes. Little
He's
green
young.
guy.
He's a young man.
Yes.
And he has many adventures.
True.
And you know who else is a young man and has many adventures?
Jesus?
King David.
Oh.
And so, therefore, the Legend of Zelda proves God is real. No, that's the argument. That's literally the argument.
That's not an argument.
I know that's not an argument. It's great. It's the best video ever. I love it.
That's like a badly thought through shower thought.
What?
A badly thought through shower thought.
I do not understand what you're saying, man. It might be an accent issue.
I think it is.
It's like not processing in my brain at all, but okay. Yeah. Yeah, also the box of the original Legend of Zelda has a key on it, and the Bible says that there was a key of David. And so the box represents the key of David. And so therefore Link is David, and so therefore God exists.
They do know that that the Legend of Zelda was made in Japan, which is not a Christian country.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like, yeah, the original religion for Legend of Zelda was supposed to be Christianity, because look at this promo art of Link kneeling before a crucifix. And it's like, well, yes, that's true. In Japan, there was that promo art released. It tends to happen with Japanese games that they just shove in a lot of like nonsense religious symbolism.
Yeah, they like to do that. Like that's why a lot of in like JRPGs, a lot of the swords have like old European mythical names.
Right, and it's like, even if they deliberately, made Link like a symbol for some Christian figure, if they deliberately made it like a Christianity-based religion in the game, look at the setting. There's like European castles, European swords, fucking like...
Yeah.
Of course. So how does this prove God? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think this guy doesn't quite understand the difference between a video game has a thing and the thing is real. I'm also working on a follow-up to that called Wonder Woman Proves God is Real.
Wait, but that makes even less sense, because in the story, she is the daughter of Zeus. That's a completely different religion.
Yeah, but you see, Ares in Wonder Woman is a demon. and he whispers in people's ears and tells them naughty things to do. And you see, demons are real, and therefore Wonder Woman proves God exists.
Okay, what mental institution did you find these people in?
I was over the moon when I found these.
I don't blame you.
You don't believe me? You'll believe me soon. They'll be
No,
coming
I
out
don't
soon.
blame you.
Oh, you don't blame
being
me?
over the moon.
Oh, yeah. No, I was like skipping around the house. I was like, I've actually replied to this guy before. It's the same guy that thought that because he dreamed about gray alien demon seducers, that he had a premonition about
yeah,
about
that guy.
That guy. It's that guy. Sneeze Boy. He's wonderful. But see, I didn't realize that he had videos on like video games and movies. He has Black Panther proves God is real, which is apparently like black people are the Israelites, and therefore, I don't know, God exists. I guess is his argument. That one was boring. I didn't watch all the way through it. Yeah, no, I can't wait for these to come out. They're moving along. They'll be coming out soon. These are kind of I always have this terrible habit of working on like 4 scripts at once and then just pushing everything out to Patreon like right at the end of the month, which I really have to stop doing. But you know, it just happens. Like I'm working on all these different things because I'm all excited about different things, and then I just go like, here you go, boo, everything for the month on Patreon.
The stuff.
Yeah, and then I'd like trickle it out to actually like public YouTube over a while. Yeah, 7th Powerable. Someone asked, would he be 7th Powerable? And that's exactly right, 7th Powerable. So if you want to spoil the video for yourself, you can. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's more fun if you just hear it for the first time with mine. But you can. I think Abubaker might be around, but I'm not sure. I saw him typing. Like I saw the little on the Twitter DM. I thought
dots thing.
Yeah. Man, I'm so crossing my fingers that he's just not wasting my time. If he comes back and says like 8 o'clock now,
yeah,
then I'll know that it's for sure busted. Is Muslim Joe the next live stream invite? I would talk to him, actually. I would. But I don't think I can get him. He's too popular.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, and also I don't think a lot of these guys would actually talk to me necessarily.
That's also
especially not on especially not on casual friendly terms, you know.
No, it has. Don't you see? It has to be really, really confrontational. That's the only way people on the internet communicate.
Well,
you can't have nuanced, friendly discussions and just small talk on the internet. That's forbidden.
It really depends how into Islam you are, because like if you're kind of hardcore, you're probably not going to want to be friendly with an atheist, right? That's kind of how it goes. So
yeah.
In fact, Abubaker unfollowed me on Twitter, telling me like, yeah, actually, the Quran says that I can't be friends with an atheist, so I had to unfollow you. Sorry, it's nothing personal. And I think it's more like a public image kind of deal, where it's like, I don't want my family and friends to know that I'm talking to you or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. 42 viewers. People are excited. I'm excited too. I really hope this works. Joe Muslim would be awesome. I would love for Joe Muslim to come in and talk to me. I bet his arguments are even better in real life than they are in his videos. Come on, man. I ask him how the travel's going. We shall see. You know, if he comes in within the next few minutes, it's only like 40 minutes late. I thought these guys were punctual with all the different prayers during the day.
Well, I mean, they can be punctual with those, but unpunctual with everything else.
Oh, that's true, I guess. It's just if I had such a rigid schedule, I'd probably be like super punctual with everything.
Yeah, you would think it would train them to be really punctual.
Exactly, yeah. You would think you'd get used to it. Do Muslims have porn?
Yes, everyone
Yeah,
has porn.
yeah. I think probably they get that really weird shit over in like Pakistan.
I mean, we can probably look up what the most searched terms in Pakistan are.
Yeah, I thought I saw once that it was like super crazy shit.
Let's
But
see.
that was a long time ago I saw that. I have no recollection, so I'm not going to pretend that's a fact.
Spell.
Filmed from behind a sheet. They probably watch Western shampoo ads. Oh man, yeah. Well, if you're denying that you've watched Western shampoo ads for porn purposes before, I mean, you're just lying. There's no way
Wait,
you have.
why would I? I have porn.
Oh, you've been like at a place where you didn't have proper internet, a motel in the 1990s. You're like, God damn it!
Yes,
All I have is this shampoo ad. It'll
in
have to
the
do.
in the 1990s when I was 6,
How old are you?
25.
You're like a kiddo. You're like a baby.
Well, I do have a pacifier.
He says he's setting up. I'm just setting up. You know what? Can you entertain the people for like 1 second and I will go and take a piss?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Hello, people. I'm supposed to entertain you. So what do you want me to sing? I can sing. Yeah, angles is probably because that's the only part you can see. But I guess if that's the part you can see, then that wouldn't be as attractive as all the parts you can't see. Hmm. Okay, I can't. I will sing. I can sing, but you really want me to sing? Okay, if you want me to sing, type 1 in the chat. Let's see. I'm not good at this, am I? Well, there's one. There's another one. Well, actually, let me sing something in Danish, so no one will be able to understand what the fuck I'm saying. Lille Peter Edderkop kravlede op ad muren. Så...
All right. He says, I've pressed the link. I can't see you there, right? Were you singing?
Yes, I was singing a Danish children's song.
Oh, that's wonderful.
For no fucking reason.
What link did I send you? Jesus Christ. Let me try sending him. By sending him this link instead.
I think you sent me the link it gives you when not the actual URL you have when you actually in the Hangout
one, right? The one where you
the invite one. Yeah.
I sent him that one before, but maybe it like changes or something.
No, it shouldn't. That the whole point is that it's permanent. Like
yeah, I know, but that's the one that he clicked, and I clicked it too, and I went into a separate call with him, and not this. So I'm very confused right now.
That's weird.
Let me see.
That's very weird.
Now it says you're about to join a hangout, so it is actually different. I don't know what's going on.
There we go.
Hey! Okay. Hey, man.
Hey,
It is actually
Logic.
him. Look at that.
Yeah, I can't see you, but I can see you through your cartoon picture.
That's awesome. Okay, I am going to change the title of this because I have it as Abubaker joins me. I'm going to pronounce your name properly.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. That's the way you pronounce my name, like in the Muslim way, and so I decided.
No, I just the Abubaker thing is just for the jokes, man.
No,
It's purely just
yeah, it's Abubaker.
yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, Logic, can you just bear with me? I might close the window because I can just too much noise. So
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So, do you want me to leave you two alone, or?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, it's up to him.
All right, that's better. All I could hear was cars going past them.
So, are you all right with Microblogganism being in here? He's just we were just chatting.
I mean, all I can see is your logo. Is there someone else in here? Or something?
You don't see him?
Wait.
No, the micro.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, Microblog. Yeah, Microblog and Logic. Who is Microblog? Is he?
He's just a buddy. Like, I haven't actually talked to him in voice before. This is the first time we've actually talked, but we were just chatting to keep the lights on here, basically.
I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize for coming so late. I just, you know, I was just running late and I set off too late from where I was coming from. So apologies for that.
No problem, man.
The viewers, sorry for starting like 30 minutes late to all the viewers. I'd like to apologize to your viewers, Logic, because that is not acceptable, is it?
That's fine. It's fine. You showed up, man. You got balls. Like, I mean, you walked in. You don't know what you're expecting necessarily, right? I mean,
yeah.
So it's cool, man. That's great. So what's new in your life?
Yeah, no, it's just weird talking to a cartoon picture. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have a camera. You don't have to keep your camera on if you're uncomfortable with it or anything.
And the blue and red is I don't know what color to focus on. Do I focus on the blue side or the red side?
Trust me, from the inside, you don't know what color to focus on.
Confusion when I'm talking to you, Logic. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, go on. What were you saying? I mean, by the way, how are you? Are you good?
I'm very good now.
Good to hear.
I wonder if are you hearing me like well? Because it seems like we're kind of talking over each other, maybe, or something. Like maybe there's a bit of lag, or.
Well, shall I put my headphones in? Cause
it might help. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, Hangouts always a bit weird. Like you always end up talking over each other just because there is a latency. So.
Yeah, usually it's not that bad though. Like I don't know. It might just be a hearing issue. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it sounds fine from my side.
Okay.
All right.
I could put my headphones in if that's better.
I don't know. I mean, I don't hear any echo or anything like that, so it should be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, the people in the chat are super happy because they really like you. You're like
they're your fans.
You're totally like one of the most popular people that I have responded to.
Yeah. But I mean, they're super like they are nice fans. Your fans, I'm not gonna lie. They the comments they write, they're always pleasant, and which is a change on religious videos because you can get some people that make some hurtful comments, but on your channel they're mostly respectful, and I've not read many hateful comments. So.
I try not to be. I mean, sometimes I can get angry in videos and stuff, but I try not to be like a hateful dick. I really try. It's a fine line sometimes because you have to be able to say what you really think, right? But also not just be, an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. I guess it can be tricky, but that's the attempt. And so I think people try to do the same thing. I think mostly people are mostly good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky subject, isn't it? Religion. You've gone through it. You're a highly intellectual person, Logic, by the way, may I say?
Thanks.
Your videos, yeah. But it's a tricky question. That's why it's so fun, isn't it? Because it's like this question. It's like this mass riddle which nobody can answer.
Yeah,
It's like you could block off every moral question there is in to do with religion, but there's always that riddle, if you know what I mean. That riddle which is just can't be answered, and it's that riddle which makes us like so interested in it.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun topic because there's always like for one thing, a lot of the arguments come down like they're very sort of rationalist arguments more than they are like empirical arguments. A lot of the time, it's different with something like creationism, like young Earth creationism or something, where they're bringing up like here's this evidence that I found in a textbook, and it's like, well, that doesn't really work. But when you just have like straight up arguments of like, here's why I think God exists, it usually comes down to something that you can just apply your mind to and pick apart, right? Usually, which is I kind of enjoy that because you can kind of just sit down and just work your way through something.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Instead of having to read like tomes of scientific.
What is the reason you make these videos, Logic? Because I'll tell you the reason. I've got no fan base at all. If you know, like on my videos, there's hardly anything. I just do it as a hobby. But what's the main reason that you make these videos?
When I started, I was raised essentially with religion not being a topic that was even brought up.
Oh, really? So you grew up in a kind of like a just a not just how what's the word? The not quite atheist, but not quite a believer.
You're probably thinking of agnostic.
Agnostic, yeah. So you were brought up in that kind of
essentially I guess you could call it that. It was basically like a I guess you would almost call it apatheist, right? Where it's like it just
you can't say agnostic because that suggests that you're those people that you've chosen not to believe or not believe, if you know what I mean. But you didn't just grow up in something that there was no grounds for you to build any kind of relationship with God on, basically. Is that what you're saying?
The thing is, if you're essentially like if you're raised in an environment where it's not even a matter of concern, like it doesn't even occur to you to think of this idea, right? So when you finally hear about it from the outside, it sounds incredibly weird. And I from relatively young, like I knew religion was a thing. I just didn't really internalize how much of a thing it was. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like I didn't really realize that people took it so seriously.
So so when did it turn for you? Like,
but that's where the YouTube thing comes in. Is like I guess I did realize that people took it seriously, but once I got on YouTube, it was like being chucked right into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh Jesus, like people are going nuts for this stuff. Like mainly back then, the videos that I saw were like I say, like young Earth creationist, Christian kind of stuff. The real out there, like kind of terrible science and stuff like that.
That's what you used to read in those days.
That's what I used to be focused on. Yeah, I still occasionally, but it's just not as big of a topic these days.
Okay.
Yeah, the discussion sort of died out a few years ago on YouTube.
Oh, what?
Yeah, in favor of friggin' just SJWs.
Yeah.
That was where it turned to for a while there, unfortunately. But I think we're back to talking more religion now.
Yeah.
But that was the main thing.
I don't realize, but yeah. Actually, a few years ago, there was this really strong atheist discussion thing on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, it really died off hard for a while. It was
well.
That's what I mean.
I think part of the problem was that like everyone got together or like under this one question, on these like few questions, single questions, this one topic, and then everyone figured out how much they disagreed on everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a good thing with Islam. You kind of have a little more unity. I mean, not that that's exactly, in my opinion, not that that's exactly good, but I would rather people disagree than conform so stringently. But it kind of is, in a way, it at least keeps people maybe a little more like stuck together so they don't
Mm.
schism away from each other as often, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna happen again. Like we're gonna come right back around. Like the atheists splintered into the SJW camp and the anti-SJW camp, and then the anti-SJW camp splinters into the Christian camp and the atheist camp, and then the atheist camp is gonna splinter again, and it's just gonna keep happening. It's gonna be like a 5-year cycle, I guarantee.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah, so you asked like why I started making the videos, but that was why. It was just pure shock once I got on YouTube. And I was watching these arguments, right? Like I was all of a sudden I was like, I have to know everything about this.
Yeah.
And so I was like listening to every argument that I could get into my ears for like 6 months or 8 months. And then finally I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna jump in myself.
This is what I've been training for.
Yeah, exactly. I would sit there at my computer listening to arguments, and then like listening to the atheist experience, for example, and arguing with the caller. No, that's stupid because this argument. And then the host would respond, and I would go, "No, you idiot! Why are you using that argument? That's the wrong argument. It's not going to work. It's not going to get through to them." You know. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do realize that just watching your videos, yeah, you were like well informed of everything, nearly every religion out there, and yeah, you know, you've never said much wrong things about Islam, to be honest. But yeah, I've realized this, like in atheist circles, there is this big tendency to want to, you know, make everything as correct as possible, and every argument has to be morally justified. And you know, I've seen a lot of atheist channels trying to make everything, you know, as perfect as they can in a way. And on the one hand, you've got these religious people like Muslims and Christians where they think they've perfected it through their books and everything, the meaning of our universe. They think they perfected it, and then you've got the atheists who are trying to anti-perfect it with their form of perfection. So we're both groups are trying to strive for perfection. I mean,
Yeah. Do you ever find that
is that like what we have to reach, the most perfect meaning, and is that something, you know, where human beings are trying to get to? That's why
I'm not quite sure that I agree with the concept of meaning generally.
You know, yeah.
But truth, for sure, you know, the most accurate representation of reality. But do you ever find that being bound to a book is a little bit limiting in that sense? Like that your interpretation of reality has to go through one lens and only one lens?
Yeah. No, that can be true, but what it is with the Quran is it's very balanced. Every message is in the middle. It's neither extreme nor too less, if you know what I mean. God's word in the Quran, everything is very mellow, and it's very medium, and it's very in the middle. And
well, but that assumes that the actual truth is in the middle.
No, but it gives you God giving you the chance to go up high or then go low, but come back in the middle where that's the safety net, that's the equilibrium. So that's basically every verse in the Quran is always on this equilibrium, and you can, if you want to go up, you can if you want to go down, but giving you a choice. The Quran, that's what I mean. So Quran might seem inhibiting, but actually the message in it gives people choice to go up or down, and that's what I really enjoy about the Quran. That's why I'm Muslim, and that's why, you know, I feel that the Quran is right and real.
How do you feel about the stuff about unbelievers in there? Like the stuff about, you know, hell.
Yeah. I've read the Quran. I started reading the Quran, like I remember when I was 16, properly, from page to page, and I finished. I didn't finish from cover to cover, but I read a lot of verses and just randomly, and I finished the Quran. And as I was reading all these verses, you know, I kept improving my wisdom, and that's why I attribute whatever wisdom I have, basically, really, to the Quran. My deep wisdom, not my human wisdom, but whatever I have beyond that. So, what the question you said about what do I make of what the Quran says about non-believers? Well, it's when the Quran says non-believer, it just means that that person has a lack of a belief, just a lack of belief in anything, like anything, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be a god. It just has to be anything. The most smallest light of spirituality. It doesn't have to necessarily be God. It just has to be a lack of something, if you know what I mean. Like
So
I would become an atheist if I would be a non-believer according to the Quran if I rejected that little bit of spirituality. If I say I don't believe in spirituality on any little bit of it, anything, I don't believe in anything, even like, the law of positivity or something like that, or even love, or any kind of spirituality, that's when I'm a non-believer.
So what do you mean by spirituality? Like you say
Yeah.
love, right? So love
Yeah,
is a human emotion. That's a
it is.
function of the brain, yeah.
Yeah, but like logic, there's been many like stories out there, if you're not heard on the news and stuff, where like I was reading 1 year ago, a mother lost her daughter like the night before, and then she could sense that her daughter had died all night.
Uh-huh.
She could sense it, and she said in the interview to the BBC, "I knew she was dead. I could sense it inside that she was not on this earth anymore." And then she
Okay.
found out she died. So there's definitely something there, there's something there which connects us, like me and my mum, or me and my family. There's something there that connects us beyond just emotion, if you know what I mean.
Okay, but when you say because you say that to be a non-believer is to reject any hint of spirituality, but I don't quite understand what that means. Like, for example, I would reject the idea that
Yeah.
someone can essentially psychically know that someone is alive or dead, right? I don't see enough evidence for a claim of that magnitude, right? So I would reject that until there's evidence presented to me or I go out and look for it that actually demonstrates that, right? So
No, but the
does
evidence is,
that make me a non-believer? Like, what does exactly?
well, it's not. It's when it's so obvious, the spirituality. It's like I've given you this example of the mother and the daughter, and when it's so obvious and then you reject it. It's like when the signs are there and you've read about it on the news and everything is telling you basically that something does exist in the air, in the atmosphere. Something does exist, but then you say no, it doesn't. And that's what I believe the Quran means when he says,
Okay, but something like what does exist?
like, if you go into a mosque, you definitely feel a different vibe than if you go into a nightclub. Or if you
Well, that's
go into
definitely
a
true.
temple, I believe so. Everything's different. The vibe, in a club, there's more. You're trying to attract yourself to a woman, maybe. But in a mosque, there's a sense of calmness, or in a temple or any religious building, there's a more calmer sense of control.
I agree that buildings have atmosphere.
Yeah, building. So what is that atmosphere? That's what I'm trying to say. What is that?
Well, it's just how much noise is there, and
Also,
if you have a bunch of flashing lights, it's chaotic.
also your preconceptions, your expectations of how this place is gonna be, and your emotional connections to this place.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Microblog, I didn't say hello to you, so hello.
Hello.
So, all right, but your emotional connection with that place, how does that result in this atmosphere, this feeling that you have of different buildings and different feelings in the air? How does that emotion get to that? What's the link?
Well, it's one emotion. It's one emotion. It's one emotion becoming filtering several emotions and factors filtering in to give you one emotion. Like that atmosphere is an emotion. Like it's a feeling inside your brain.
So it's so
Yeah, what
your
if you? I think the point is like, what if you believe? What if
yeah.
you reject the idea that there's anything supernatural about it? Does that make you a non-believer? Like, regardless of whether it is or whether you have any reason to think it is or anything, if that's what you think, does
No,
that make
but
you a non?
yeah, well, yeah, you would be a non-believer because it's so obvious, like I said, and then you're rejecting it. So you've disbelieved in something which is pretty obvious.
I don't find it very obvious.
Yeah.
So every building and even people's homes have got different atmospheres.
I find it obvious that a
Different cities,
church has a different
have got
atmosphere.
different atmospheres. Different towns have. Different countries have different atmospheres. You know, if we all had one atmosphere, that's when I'd say God doesn't exist, or that's when I'd say, you know what, you're right, there's nothing there. But what I can sense, and that's why people like traveling to different cities. A lot of it is, you know, you experience different cultures, but within those cultures, there's a lot of atmosphere and different other things come into play. So, as long as that spirituality is in the air, I have to believe in God. If you know what I mean, I have to believe in something. If it's not God, it has to be something.
Something like that humans have brains that interpret things.
But
And emotional states.
Yeah,
no, but
emotional states.
Yeah, but that emotional state,
Neurochemical.
what's the link between that and the atmosphere?
I mean,
There's a heart.
when you're in the building, you get sensory inputs, which then triggers emotions.
Yeah, but there's the same smell everywhere on this planet. So why is it different in a certain place than another place?
There's the same what? Smell?
Yeah, there's the same, you know, there's the same smells and there's the same air, but why is it different?
Well, no, there isn't the same smell everywhere.
Yeah, a mosque
why-
doesn't smell the
that's-
same as a nightclub,
yeah.
believe me.
So all right, so you're saying the smell creates that atmosphere?
It's part of it. It's part of it. So
Yeah.
is the visual
Smell-
input, so is
smell,
the audible input.
Okay, so
the way it especially smells, because the smell olfaction is the only sense that goes directly into the brain. All the other senses have a sensory cortex that they go into and get processed, but your smell goes directly into your emotional centers.
Okay.
And is processed there. So actually smells are really, really connected to both memories and emotions. That's why smells are so powerful in triggering like memories.
Yeah, it does. You're right. It is
I actually really remember the smell of the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. That's like my most prominent smell in my life. If I smell that smell of like, it's like this weird like gasoline smell or something. I don't know. From the torches, I think. All of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I'm back at Disneyland. Yeah. I don't know. But like, you know, you're essentially, I think we're arguing a different point though. Like I think that Abubaker. Sorry, I'm using my joke version of your name. I apologize. But
I used to call
you're essentially arguing, I think, about whether it's supernatural, whether it's something external, and we're arguing about what it means, if it is or it isn't, right? Because the thing is, we're probably not going to bridge the gap of whether it is, but we can bridge the gap of what it means if it is, right?
Sure.
So like, if I believe that a mosque and a nightclub make me feel different, but I reject any supernatural causation and just say it's a function of the human brain, physical.
Yeah, like I said, logic. If I breathe, if I smell something that happens inside of my body, there's no link between that and the atmosphere. So how is the atmosphere created? We must be giving out something back to the atmosphere.
Yeah, but this is again
the
question of whether, as opposed to the question of what
the
it
logic.
means.
Like, let me just finish my reasoning.
Okay, sure.
When I just like, I won't be long, but when
Go for it.
If I go into a place like you said, the Indiana Jones place where we're in, and if I smell something, and then if I feel happy from that, I emit some positivity back into the atmosphere. I'll tell you how I do that.
You emit positivity?
I feel we emit something back into the atmosphere, and possibly maybe by your heart. You can't see it, but maybe your heart feels good about that place, and then that your heart gives out some kind of light to that place. Or it could be something else, but I believe that when we feel something, we emit something back out there. And if you believe in that emission from human beings out there, that's spirituality, and that's a form of spirituality.
I don't believe that humans emit happiness.
You don't believe
No.
that?
Not by a long shot, no.
If you and your girlfriend, how do you create that rapport? If you're just feeling emotional and she's feeling emotional within your bodies, how are you actually creating that bond? And
humans can feel very different emotions in the same time.
Yeah, but there's still some pulling powers between you that's doing something. If you know what I mean, there's still some.
Well, I mean,
I-
we're social creatures, so we send out social signals.
Yeah. We send out social signals. Is that through hand gestures or something?
Well,
That
it's
and
actually
maybe pheromones.
well, human pheromones is a bit iffy. I won't get into that, but it's
You know, I
mainly
don't know the details of it, so I won't pretend to know.
it's like it's body language and it's expressions. Like we're very visually based as creatures. So
Yeah.
it's body language and facial expressions, and then of course there's also voice, like tone, and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's how the connection is made. We communicate.
Okay, if you're aware of understanding it, then I respect that. Obviously,
I think
the way I think about it is what I said earlier, but I understand.
I could be convinced of this. I could be convinced of this if what we did was we essentially set up a laboratory experiment, right? Where you have a room and you bring in a person who's feeling absolutely ecstatic, but you put them in a box where you can't see them, you can't
Or
hear
hear
them,
them.
anything.
Yeah.
And you see how you feel. Like you see how like a sample of people feel in that room, I guess. I mean, I don't know how exactly you would determine that, but you know, generally speaking.
There's psychological tests you can do and like surveys.
Sure.
And then obviously you also have a control experiment where you don't have someone in the box.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're saying, would those people be able to sense that person's happiness in the box?
Right, exactly. To find out if they actually would be able to sense a person that they can't.
But he's not going to be happy if he's in a box, is he? He
Why
can't
not?
be.
It's not like it's a box like a cage.
But
It's just,
yeah, but you can't be happy in a box because you want to be free. So that
why not? Put him in a box, shoot him up with heroin.
The happiness is negated by the sadness of the moment, if you know what I mean.
How? Why not put him in like a really nice box?
Maybe the okay. Let's say we find a person who likes being in boxes.
Put him in a little tiny mosque that he can pray in and have his wonderful day, you know? And then take someone who like really, really hates Islam and put him in the tiny mosque. And then he's going to be all pissed. And then you can see how he feels with that guy in the room.
I just love the concept of a tiny mosque. Like it's the Lego version.
Lego mosque. It could work. Hey, you know, we're spitballing. We could do this experiment.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? No.
You know, but this is why I say it's hard to bridge this gap of whether there's something actually spiritual or not. But the point is, if somebody rejects the concept that there is, that according to you, I think makes them a non-believer, in which case both of us in here would be, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
I think. So, but then it comes back to my original question, which is how do you feel about the Quran with its stuff about hell and non-believers? Like, how does that make you feel? Just feel.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, I went through these questions when I was young, since I've been 16, and every time I come across like a weird verse in the Quran which I don't understand or suggests some kind of hate or just doesn't make sense in a truthful manner, I always look at it and think about it. So the question of heaven and the question of hell basically is we can't end this life really within our lives. There has to be some kind of eternity. That's the there has to be something that keeps us going forever. Because that's what I believe. Because if it's just this world and then you die, that's a loss of a lot of beauty. That's a loss of a lot of achievements. That's a loss of.
That doesn't mean that it's true, though. I mean, I understand that you don't want to lose beauty and achievements and nice things, but that doesn't mean that you can't lose them.
No, you don't. Yeah, you can lose them, but obviously that's the religious way of thinking like that gives life this meaning, which makes you want to love more, makes you want to achieve more. Because if it's eternal, then you want to live for eternity. Yeah. So if you know,
whether you want to or not is one thing, but whether you will or not is another thing.
Exactly. I could die and you could be right. God doesn't exist. And I could be wrong. But that's it. Like,
but then
I lived.
Don't you want to know for sure, one way or the other?
Well, we'll find. There's only one way to find out, really.
Yeah, but you're dedicating your life to a thing that you don't even know is true, that you just want to be true.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's a little premature, maybe, I would say.
No, but it's not, because I know inside that my love is enduring. If you know what I mean, I can sense that love has no boundaries. That love will never end. That love goes on forever. I can sense that. So it's
You
not
consent to it?
Yeah, I just feel like the love can't die. So it's not.
I think it would be great if love lasted forever, but it doesn't necessarily last forever.
That's what it is. But yeah, that's what it is. I believe love can't die. So if I believe love can't die, then I put these systems in place, like heaven and hell, to justify that assertion of that love can't die. If love dies, then I just can't imagine love dying, if you know what I mean. So
What exactly do you mean then? Because, like, for example, people fall in and out of love with each other. So what do you, when you say love can't die,
when you
what
fall
exactly?
in and out of love, logic term, but you love again, don't you? There's always someone you love.
Not necessarily.
Well, if you're totally loveless, that you always find something to love. Like, it's very hard for humans not to love something. You love maybe your YouTube channel or your dog or your mum, or love always comes back, if you know what I mean. Even though you might you might keep losing stuff, but you always come back to something that you love. And that's why
pretty people, to be honest with
you. It's very awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, how do I? Well, I guess if you believe it, you believe it. I mean, I can't talk you out of it, but I'm just saying, like,
But I'm not like this crazy strong believer. Like, I'm not certain. Like you say, I do believe something exists, and I put it to Islam. But it could be I don't know what it is, but it's something does exist. Something is there. That's what I'm saying. That there is something.
But would you also say that would you say that you're 100% certain that something exists, or are you also in doubt about that?
No, I'm 100% certain something exists.
Something exists. Well,
absolutely.
Something is a very vague term, though. I don't.
No, like I said, it's just connected to love. That's all it is. If
something connected to love,
something exists. If love exists, something exists. That's all.
I am 100% in agreement that something exists.
You are now. You are.
I don't think you don't mean the same something.
We do not mean the same something by any means, but I definitely agree that something exists. At least I exist.
What?
Aside from that,
the logic, like what is it exactly that you believe exists? Because I've been talking about spirituality, but if it's not that, what is it that you?
Well, I'm as close to 100% certain that I exist as it's possible to be. Aside from that, everything is tiny little bit below 100%.
Right.
But as close to 100% as it can be, like, but 100% is absolute certainty, where there's no argument, there's no evidence that could possibly convince you otherwise. I am not that certain that I'm talking to you right now, but I'm as close as you can conceivably get, like 99 point, and then put a ton of nines after that %.
Yeah, I'm the same. When I said 100%, I meant it. But I am pretty sure, though, like, it's pretty much 100%, but I know what I mean,
yeah. You mean it in a slightly different way.
You're open to, like,
it's okay.
So what exactly do you need to take that step, or make that little percentage just go up to like 50%?
Well, it really depends on the individual thing that you're proposing. If you just say something exists, well, I will agree that something exists. If you say something, some universal force that carries love around the universe or something, independent of humanity itself, like independent of people, like, feeling things by neurochemistry, then I would probably need some evidence for that of some sort. I don't know what you would do. Well, you know what? The Mosk experiment, the tiny Mosk box experiment, would be a start. That would really help me if that experiment was done, and it showed exactly what you're saying.
What would you want the result to be then, to be proved that God is right? have to happen with that box.
Prove that God is right.
Well,
No, I didn't know
that wouldn't prove God is right. It would prove that that people emit that there's something other than physical bodies, like see and communicate, that transfers emotional states, or at least affects emotional states in other people.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
To prove that there's a God is a different
faint
question.
examples of that. There might be some faint examples that have already taken place on that, like, you know, when there's earthquakes and houses get crushed and down, and there's like sometimes there's a baby trapped, and the baby always ends up getting rescued.
Well, that's because babies have this thing where they cry a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, to be fair, the rescuers are looking for survivors. So
survivors, exactly. They're looking for survivors.
Well, they are actually also looking for dead people to give people the families closure.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on? Are we having an echo or something here?
No, it was my brother. He's
okay.
listening to the conversation. It'd be a very nice podcast. He was just saying it'd be a very nice podcast. Do it regularly.
Oh yeah, we could. I'd be open to that.
Yeah, I was
bring in guests and have them argue. Yeah. By the way, I didn't mean to have this like immediately switch onto religion. I think we just kind of ended up doing it anyway because I think it's natural for both of us.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we both talk about on our YouTube channel. So I guess we just kind of gravitated instantly to this topic.
Yeah, sure.
But, whatever. I'm trying to keep it chill. I'm really trying. I was a little excited at the start and talking a lot, but then I'm trying to like be calm.
I try to keep it chill, but it's something that I just want to talk about. So
that's cool. I'm perfectly fine talking about it.
Yeah, today I went to university. I'm just finishing off this master's degree, which I'm doing.
So master's in what?
In museum and art galleries.
Oh, interesting.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm finishing that in September, so I just needed to do some work on that. That's the reason why I came late. I just, I came back a bit later than I should, but set off pretty late as well today.
Yeah. So, no problem. People were patient. Yeah. Right now, I don't know if you know, we have 73 viewers. That's
I love your viewers, by the way, Logic. Hey? Your viewers are great people.
Mostly they are.
They're just so funny. Like, I've been reading the comments on your videos, and they just say the most outrageous, funny things.
like what?
Just like, these things which don't really make sense, but it's just so funny. If you know what I mean.
Okay. I don't know.
The pineapple on pizza thing, but they're just making a joke out of it. If you one of the videos that you made about me.
Yeah, they do like to make jokes. Definitely a jokey bunch.
Which is very rare, actually, because the atheist channels can get quite serious for it.
Yeah. I make that mistake sometimes. Like I kind of have this thing where I try to have a mix of serious and humor, and sometimes you sway too far to one side or the other.
Yeah,
and people aren't too interested if it's just funny and it's kind of pointless, and if it's just serious, it's kind of boring for people.
Yeah, it's finding that middle ground. I mean, it also depends on the topic of the video. If the topic of the video is something horrible, then making too many jokes is probably not a good idea.
Not really, no. Yeah. Like that weird guy who was all grinning about Stephen Hawking is in hell right now. That's awesome. Can you believe it? That guy. I was like, I can't be very funny with this guy. This is not cool.
Yeah.
So you were saying Stephen Hawking's in hell, is it?
Yeah, it was this Christian guy who, after Stephen Hawking died, there were a bunch of those actually. Like I found a bunch of those, but that was the best one.
There's a whole YouTube community of, well, I'm not sure how much of a community, but there's like tons of channels that are dedicated to every time a celebrity dies, going over why they're in hell. It's a thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know why people like. It's like, okay, I guess if you believe in hell and you believe people deserve to get sent to hell, like I have a big problem with that, but I don't have nearly the same kind of problem as I have with people who celebrate it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like that's big on Muslims. Muslims never criticize people that are dead because It's like God decides, afterwards what's going to happen to him. I'm not big on that as well. I can't. I don't even say now. I can't decide who's going to go in heaven or hell. Even like if you're the most craziest atheist or just the most anti-religious person, I can't still say you're going to go to hell because God may like you. Or there might be a reason why God might actually like you, and there might be a reason. So I can't say anyone's going to go in hell. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, that's a good attitude.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's like that's what I've been taught in the Quran, that God will judge you like precisely in after we die, and he'll judge you properly, like your intentions and your sincerity and just everything that you thought you covered up, but it'll all be open. And
so how does this love carrying medium, I don't know, spiritual force thing, how does that relate to God and judgment, and like how are these things linked in your mind? Like what is the relationship between them?
All right, so the relationship is like one word. You know what that word is, Logic. I've said it many times in the videos with you covered. Paradise. That's what it's all connected to.
So paradise is the thing that carries love throughout the universe supernaturally?
Yeah, that's what I believe. It's
So is it emanating from paradise, or is paradise the thing carrying it?
well, the thing is, I believe that all our lives were written. Everything was done before we actually stepped on this earth. So before we stepped on this earth, the person is already in heaven or hell. So when I was born, I was already in heaven or hell. And then
when you were born, you were already in heaven or hell. Okay.
Yeah. And if I've got a heavenly spirit on me, that spirit is from paradise, which is making other people happy. If I've got a heavenly spirit on me, that's making people sad. Maybe you're like an adulterator, or maybe you're just doing things which is pissing other people off or breaking the rules.
So you're born with either a piece of paradise or a piece of hell.
Yeah. And shall I tell you why? Shall I tell you why
Yeah,
that
sure.
is? This is the most important thing, of which I will talk about like pretty much forever. This is the thing which I'm gonna say, and this is what I believe is the most important part of it. It's of everything. I believe that before we came on this earth, we were all tested spiritually.
We were all what now?
Tested.
We were all tested.
Oh, tested. Okay.
Spiritually and physically, to see if we're going to be good or bad. And we all have to go through these tests. And those people that was good to other people, that was kind, that were loving, that helped people, and those people that passed the test before we were born, they got paradise. So God didn't coerce them into anything. He let them naturally be themselves. And those people that were good and did good, they were given the light of they were given paradise. But those people,
so Earth then and life, like this life, is not the test. The test is another life that they lived previously.
The test is already been done. The test is already done. That's why you cannot change a sinner. Really, you cannot change a guy who likes to just kill, and you can't change him because the test was not on this. The test happened before we came onto this earth.
Because what I've heard a lot from Muslims is that this life is the test for the afterlife.
Yeah, that's what some. But it never says anything. It never says anything like that in the Quran.
That's interesting. So there's like a previous life, and then this life, and then there's still an afterlife.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems very convoluted.
And it's not that's what I mean. It's not what you did in this life. You're just what I'm doing in this life is just basically on what I passed the test or not in my previous.
So I could basically do anything I want, and it doesn't matter. It's already like.
Exactly, and I don't know if that's cruel or if it's not by God. I don't know if it was, but that's just the way.
Kind of gives you no reason to be a Muslim then, because your fate's already sealed.
Yeah, but I showed my faith in the previous test, in the first test. That's when I was good, or that's when I did good or bad.
Sure.
So I've already.
But now you have no obligation. So now you could be like, okay, well, if you wanted to tomorrow, you could be like, well, I'm gonna go and smoke a bunch of drugs and drink a bunch of beer and eat a bunch of bacon.
Yeah, but I can't.
God would
I can't because, like I said, my soul, I just cannot do that kind of stuff. I, for example, cannot adulterate or even fornicate, or I just can't. I physically can't do it because I don't enjoy it. Simple as that. Because I've already. If
I have a joke that I would put in there, but I'm not sure if it's inappropriate.
What's that?
I was gonna say like it won't get up, or
Yeah, actually, you're right. You're right. Your phone get up.
yeah, maybe not appropriate.
I will get up, and he won't get up.
But so what do you believe is the point of this life? Because it seems like now, okay, you have paradise or you have hell, which is basically the reward or the punishment at the end. And before this life, you had the test that decides whether you go, which one you get. But then what's the point of this? Like, is this just the like pastime? Like half? What's the thing in sports but in between like the break? Is this recess?
Yeah, but you're just doing basically everything that based on what you did in the first test, initial test. You're just following that out. So
yeah, but why? Why have this?
That's why an atheist can't, a bad person, not atheist, but a bad person can't become a good person, or vice versa. It's very hard because you're just doing what you passed in the previous life.
It's hard, but it's possible, isn't it?
I don't.
Like for a murderer to
be good, but the essence of it. But you get some murderers which, they might have passed it. I'm not sure about murderers, but it's hard for a good person to be bad and a bad person to be good because that's just the way it is. Like it's insanely hard. You have to change the whole world and the whole universe and everything for that to happen, I believe.
Okay. I'm curious about something else with this whole this idea that you just have to believe in something spiritual, right? Like you don't actually need a religion for that. Like for example, my mom believes that people are reincarnated after they die.
Oh, right.
And this is obviously like some sort of spiritual movement between bodies, right? Whatever. I haven't interrogated her on this, so I don't know the details. But this is not a religion as such. It's not like a formal religion, at least.
Oh, so it's not like based on Hinduism or Sikhism,
right? It's not based on any religion. There's no tenets. There's no book. There's no nothing.
Okay.
It's just this is the thing I believe, kind of thing.
Logic. That is interesting. Your mum that is something that I was thinking about actually a couple of days ago. I was talking to my brother about it, which is reincarnation. And so, if a person's really bad, does he end up being like a really bad creature or something?
I don't know. I don't think so. Like I honestly think it's more of a coping mechanism than anything. I don't know that she knows the details, to be perfectly frank with you.
So at this moment in time, Logic, are you saying you just believe in us humans that we die and that's it? Is that the basis of your?
It's just like if you think back to what you remember from before you were born,
right?
You don't remember anything, right?
No, I don't.
Like for all intents and purposes, whether you think there was a life previous or not, from your perspective, looking back, it's just nothingness, right?
Well, yeah, basically, yeah.
So that's after we die. That's the same thing. That's my belief.
Right, but I don't feel the nothingness. I feel there was something before I came on this earth. I feel I did do something. If you know what I mean.
Okay. I don't.
You don't. You don't believe that nothing before you were born. There's nothing that you did. Nothing.
I wasn't here.
I wasn't here.
Right, and so you believe there's going to be nothing after you die.
Yeah.
I have no reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, until someone presents me a compelling reason to think otherwise, I'm not going to believe it. Because I'm not emotionally tied to, if someone says, I want love to continue, I want life to continue, I want good things to continue, it's like, well, I can want that all I want, but I don't think it's true. And personally, I would rather believe what's true.
Right, believe what you can see. And
believe what there's good reason to believe. And reading it in a book is not a good reason. And I feel it. Even if I felt it, it's not a good reason, because that's just a feeling. It's like you can feel all kinds of things are true. People believe, every religion on the planet because they feel like it's true. But that doesn't make every religion on the planet true.
I mean, schizophrenics feel a lot of things that objectively aren't true. So
exactly.
Like going on feelings isn't isn't a good way of figuring out.
People on
What's
acid
that?
trips have an awful lot of experiences that are
Yeah.
definitely not real.
Right. So, how do I put this? So, if I changed my mindset to think the way you're thinking, which is that I'm just born here and I'm gonna die,
Mhm.
right? I am no longer an attractive person.
You're no longer a what? Attractive person?
An attractive person. I have no attraction on me
You have no
because,
attraction in what sense?
in the sense that I could be any. I am anybody. If you know what I mean. I could be anybody. There's nothing that defines me differently to anybody else.
Am I the same as everybody else?
Well,
I think I'm different. I put on
we've all got
pantyhose on my head and bobble my head around
That's what I
while
mean.
I argue about atheism.
We've all got. Everyone's looks good in their own way. We've all got skin. We've all got things. But if I don't believe there's anything, if I just believe in me and I'm gonna die here, that means that we're all the same, basically.
In the
Yeah.
sense that we share the same human condition on the basic level of birth and death. But
yeah, and I don't believe humor or talking differently. Well, does that increase the love or increase your attraction?
To many people, yeah, the way you talk and the way you act is the
Yeah.
thing that attracts them to you. Yes.
Yeah.
But if it's just gonna happen for like 30 years until you become old and miserable,
Then I get those 30 years. Like,
that's it. But
I
then
mean, it's not.
you're giving every reason for the relationship to break up, if you know what I mean.
Why?
Because
No.
you are. Because everything's limited, everything's inhibited. Your woman could leave you at any instant. That's why Islamic relationships or religious relationships last predominantly a lot of times a long time, because there's no reason.
If the relationship is going to be infinite, that gives her infinitely longer to leave you.
No, but as Muslims believe, we believe we'll take like a wife from this world, but then we'll also get like a paradise woman as well. So
Do you keep your previous wife?
yeah,
So she has infinitely longer to leave you.
But we believe that the worldly wife will be more beautiful than the paradise wife, if you know what I mean.
Will the worldly husband be more beautiful too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where the equilibrium is reached. Paradise, what I believe, where no hate exists, and that's heaven on earth. Basically, that's paradise.
But one thing I'll say is, I think, like, I don't think neither myself or Logic, like, none of us are saying that we believe this because we want it to be this way. Like, I mean, I would prefer to like be able to live forever, like, and not having my existence stop.
Yeah.
Sounds like I like being alive, but like that doesn't, just because I want that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is.
Yeah, like, you think I wouldn't love a giant paradise party for eternity with a bunch of beautiful women?
I know you would.
I would get it up.
No, that's what. Yeah, but it's like even Muslims say that you won't have any problems with erectile dysfunctions or anything in paradise.
That is a good sales pitch. That is a damn good sales pitch for guys like over 50 or whatever.
It's also a very specific claim. Someone sat down and thought about that.
And you won't poop. You won't have to poop or pee or anything, apparently.
Wow, you want to? But I like it.
Yeah.
That morning poop when you get up and you're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna.
It does give you a chance for me time, doesn't it? But
or like that little guy from The Witcher 3, where he's like, yeah, the best thing in the world is that morning poop when I get to go outside in the fresh air, just vent it all out, and it's like the best part of my day.
Just like, not even like the act itself, just like it's like you get a break. You get to sit down and have a break and like just take a short break. It's like meditation, but on a toilet.
Yeah, it's our version of prayer. Don't take that from us.
Well, you can have it if you want, I guess.
I'll make sure to ask Allah for that if he gives me the
But
opportunity.
in paradise, it's basically whatever you want, you can have, and whatever you don't want, you don't have. So even all the shit, if you want all the shit, you can have this shit.
By the way, I saw Frustrated Atheist asked to get in the chat, but I think I'm gonna say no just because let's keep this small, because we don't want like 10 atheists in here.
No.
And that's
Why do they spoil the broth?
Hey?
No.
Yeah, well, yeah, if there's too then it just gets one-sided. I mean, there's already 2 of us in here.
Yeah.
Microblogganism just came in to help me out because we had
I've never heard of Microblog. Is it a YouTube channel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you are? I've never come across this.
Well, that's because I don't.
You've never come across me because I've got no subscribers. But
well, I've come across you through Logic, obviously.
Thank you, by the way, for giving me exposure on my videos because they never would have got any views. So I'm eternally indebted to you.
Did you see? I did a response as a Patreon exclusive video once because you had that great video where you did like a direct response to me and you were like doing just what I was doing, where it was like kind of poking fun a little bit and like having a good time. And I thought it was a great video. And I did a response, but I did it as a Patreon exclusive because I couldn't get it long enough to be like a full video. But I sent it to you in a YouTube.
You did.
Did you ever get a chance to see? I don't even remember what I said, to be honest with
you. I did watch it, but I did start watching it. Then I thought I'm gonna watch it properly later, but I don't know if I actually got. So sorry about this. I don't know how I forgot about it.
It doesn't matter. Like if you want to see it, I can send it to you again.
I remember clicking it and starting to watch it, and then I thought, right, I need to have, because I was a bit tired then and stuff. So I thought I need to watch it properly, and so I can focus what you're saying like in another time. And then I didn't. I don't know if I might have watched it. What were you saying in it?
I don't remember. Like I'm not asking to quiz you about it. I just wanted to make sure that you actually got a chance to see it.
I might have watched it, but I would have forgotten what you said. But
I forgot what I said by now. I make a lot of videos, so it's they kind of all blur together after a while. To be honest with you,
you don't even have to make a lot for that to happen. Mine blur together as well.
I like that guy on your channel, Logic. Yeah, the Christian guy,
Kent Hovind.
The guy who makes videos outside, in the
outside.
Oh, the what was it? The guy who was standing in front of a pine tree.
Yeah, he's got a very calm voice, and he talks about.
Yeah, he talked about something. It was something really weird to do with it was something about us having modern technology. And
that guy
that confused. Is that what you're talking about?
The microwave guy?
Yeah.
He said, why do we have both microwaves and barbecues? Because one's old technology and one's new technology, and so we're clearly living in the 23rd century. Is that the guy you're talking about? Maybe not.
Well,
maybe not that.
No,
guy.
The thin guy. The very thin man, the Christian man, the very thin and tall.
Thin and tall, and he makes videos outside.
In front of greenery and stuff.
It's got to be that guy. That's the only guy I can think of. Standing outside.
I'm on internet right now, so I could just check what it is. But I'm impressed by his message, to be honest, because he's Christian and obviously he's a believer in God. But I'm impressed by just his calmness, really, and just his messages.
Okay, I'm not sure. I'll go to my. Actually, I can't go to my video page from here. I have to go through this other way. Let me see. I'm just gonna.
Oh, my sister, hate your family for Jesus. That video.
Oh, that guy, Robert Light. Yeah,
that's it. Robert. So what's his name again?
Robert Light.
Robert Light. His
name.
Light, like Lyte. Light. It's like light, but light like bedroom light, but spelt differently. Yeah, that guy. I find that guy completely. Never mind. If you like him, you like him. I was gonna say I find him completely insane, but he's definitely got the calm voice down. You're absolutely right. He has got he's got the chill.
Yeah.
And I might be as chill as him if I made videos out in the woods all the time.
No, there's only one way he's that chill, Logic. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. I will agree that the woods have a very particular atmosphere, And
No,
it makes
it's
me
very-
feel real good. I want to move out to the woods.
You can only become that chill if you believe in God. I'm not like saying that in a funny way, but
I don't know,
Okay.
man. We'll see. We'll see once I get back out in the woods and become a hermit.
Hold on, you live in Canada, Logic. That's nothing but fucking trees.
I live in the city.
and snow.
There aren't cities in Canada. It's all
not
it's
a
like
single one.
all it's all tiny villages.
It's really an
Out in-
igloo village, but
Yes, out
we
in the
call it
middle
a
of the
city because
woods.
we have to feel better about ourselves.
You just pretend to have cities.
Yeah. Okay. Frustrated Atheist says he sent a message on Twitter. Okay, let me see.
Right.
Let me see. That's cool. If you could just tell him this. There is an old quote that says something along the lines of that on your tombstone is a birth date and a death date, and all of your life is summed up by a dash. The most important thing on a tombstone is that dash. What defines us is that dash, and because no one lives that dash the same way is what makes us unique, not what comes before or after. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd agree
That's
with
a-
that. as well.
It's a nice phrasing, a nice way that it's put. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that before somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah. So are you saying that if you don't believe in God, you can have more fun and you can maybe express yourself more?
Not necessarily.
No.
I'm not sure about that, man. You might express your opinions on God more, but that's because you have them,
Yeah, that's true.
or your glorification of it. So if you don't need religion to have this sort of belief that life continues and everything nice continues and all this kind of stuff, do you need a specific religion? Like what reason do you have to adhere specifically to Islam as opposed to Christianity or Hinduism or nothing or no religion at all and just sort of believe a thing?
Right. Well, it's basically the Quran. It's like too perfect for me, wisdom-wise. It's too the poetry in it and the wisdom. It's like too right. That's the only reason why I am a Muslim. I'll be honest with you. And most of it, maybe there's the odd verse which is I can't think about it properly. I don't really understand what it is, but 98% of it is basically perfection. I've read the verse and instantly I'm just thinking that's just wisdom. I can't even think of denying that it's just correct, if you know what I mean. Because the Quran is.
Did you ever read the Bible or anything like that, or
Yeah,
Book
but
of Mormon?
a bit of the Bible, and the Bible is different to the Quran. It's more story-like. The Quran is just basically poetry. It's just succinct lines which get straight to the point. Every verse gets to a point and then goes on to the next verse, which makes a point, which gets to another verse, which makes a point. So it's just
So it's more condensed, is basically the idea.
Yeah, and
Yeah, the Bible tends to waffle a lot and not really get too much of a point.
Yeah, there's not a lot of really well-used pages, I would admit, in that book.
But the Quran is like every page is just points and points and points and points and points and.
Yeah, the Quran is basically all of the religious commandments and teachings of the Bible boiled down into like one small package, essentially.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, and that's why I'm Muslim. And there's also deeper things as well. I doubt it. I could leave my religion, my family. It's hard to break up, the family thing. And
well, that's a large part of why a lot of people stay in it. I think is peer pressure, essentially.
Well, family is huge. Like, it's the most important thing you've got really in this world.
Wouldn't it be nice if your family wouldn't distance themselves from you if you stop believing the thing that they believe?
Yeah, they wouldn't distance themselves. If I became something else, if I become an atheist, they might distance themselves because, they're so like fixed on religion and belief like I am. But if I became a Christian, they wouldn't totally just reject me, but I would break down the fabric of the family. Like, I'll break down the happiness, and that would affect me. I would break down something. Like
why would that break down the happiness?
Because we're not all on the same wavelength anymore. If you know what I mean, we're not on the same thinking or the same.
Do you need to be?
I do, yeah.
Like on that issue, because I mean, there are other things to focus on.
For a family to be together, it's better if you're all on the same mode, if you know what I mean, religious mode, or just it's not necessary, but
See, I understand that people think that way. I just don't understand why they think that way, because it's just like, I believe a different thing happens after you die than you do. Well, that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change anything about who we are as people.
No, but there's a whole belief system I've got in place. Things like only sex after marriage.
You can still believe that without being.
No, but there's a lot of, like, I've got some rituals which I do, which is based on Islam.
You can do those too. That's called being a cultural Muslim.
Yeah.
There's things like that.
Same thing with Jews. Like Jews do that a lot. Cultural Jews, you know.
Yeah, so there's things like that which I do. Like, what else is there? Things that I do as a Muslim. Well, I shake people's hands. I give it that peace greeting, assalamu alaikum. There's a lot of things that you do.
But,
but you've been raised doing this, right?
The women cover their hair in modesty. The women cover their hair in modesty. I dress modestly. Like, I don't show my thighs or under my abs.
I go outside with a shirt on.
Yeah, no, men can go out with a shirt on, but I don't show.
I don't show everyone my thighs. I don't wear
You've
short
got
shorts.
great legs, though. Saw that video when you were showing your legs.
Oh, that's true. I did do that.
You've got.
I do have one instance. That's true.
Yeah, strong legs, by the way, Logic.
No, they're not. They're flabby. I got to work out.
I saw that video you made, that music video you made.
Hey, how do Muslims deal with changing rooms, like at the pool? This is a legit question. I want to know how this works. Do you have to like have like a barred off area, or can you like, change like directly in the open space where everybody else does?
Like what I do when I play soccer, like, and stuff, and I used to play for a team and stuff. Well, or like physical education in school. You just have to just take it off in front of everyone really quickly, and put whatever you need to put on really fast.
I go really quickly myself, just because it's really fucking awkward to be like standing around naked with everyone for a prolonged period of time. You always get that guy, the old guy who'll like saunter around the fucking changing room with his like 6 foot long ball sack hanging out, and
just swinging
walk over and put his leg up on the bench and be like, "Hey there, youngster." And you're like, "God, get your balls out of my face, motherfucker."
Just keep looking at his eyes. Just keep looking at his eyes. Just keep looking at his eyes.
I agree. Do it quick.
Yeah. So, even that logic, that is an interesting point you make. Like, why can't you look at a guy naked if you don't believe, if there's no God on it? Like, even without God, why can't you? What's stopping you?
You can if you want to. I don't think there's any moral obligation not to. You can stare at his balls all you want. He might get uncomfortable and punch you.
Well, he already made you uncomfortable.
Yeah. We're just trading discomfort at this point.
You don't believe in God, but you still feel uncomfortable. How do you explain that?
Well, feeling uncomfortable isn't like a God belief issue.
No, it's not. But
so I don't understand how the two are linked. Like, why can you not feel uncomfortable around a dude putting his naked balls in your face?
If that's not something you want.
Yeah, it's like this is just a matter of like essentially taste and social norms, basically.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
We have social norms.
Everyone
we're a social animal.
Yeah, you can feel uncomfortable about that. I agree with you. But why can't you walk around naked?
I think you should be legally allowed to. I don't see any reason not to.
I am, technically.
Why?
Where are you again? Like Denmark or something?
Denmark.
Why can't men show their penises and stuff?
They can here. Like, as long as no one is offended by what I do, that would be like.
That's a tall order, saying nobody is offended.
Well, not okay. Offended to a certain degree. There is a specific law, but the law doesn't prevent you from walking around naked. It prevents you from causing unnecessary offense by doing it.
Sort of like harassment more than anything.
Yeah. Like somewhere like between like offending and harassment, but closer to harassment. It's hard to explain the exact law.
Yeah, I know what I mean. But if we can show our face and we can show our arms, why can't we show breasts and why can't we show our penises?
I mean, we
sure can. I mean, you can turn on your webcam. YouTube won't let you. But if I controlled this room right now and you were like, I want to whip my dick out, I would be like, okay, man, fine.
You want me to?
I wouldn't stop you. I
Right.
wouldn't be like
you
I
would
wouldn't be
stop
like,
him.
yeah, man, go for it. I really want to.
You would stop him while we were live because that would get you kicked off.
But most of your viewers are like 10-year-olds, aren't they, Logic? I'm joking.
I'm like, what now?
No,
10-year-olds.
Oh, 10-year-olds? No, actually, I have a real old viewer
Yeah,
base, which is
I'm
actually terrible on YouTube in a way, because you want those like 13-year-olds to be
Yeah,
watching
that's
you.
fair.
You don't want the 30s, but I have the 30s mostly. Yeah, 25 to what is it? 25 to 34 is my biggest demographic.
I haven't even checked what mine is.
Mine is like 50% that, and then
How many subscribers have you got, Microblog?
2,800.
Oh, nice. Nice.
hey, you're doing all right then.
Yeah. Considering that I don't really put that much stuff out.
How much have you put out? How many videos do you have now?
Let's see. Let's count them.
While he's doing that,
20.
you can do that on Social Blade, by the way. It'll just show you.
Well, it also does it in the video counter.
Oh, okay.
20 including announcement stuff, so 19.
Yeah, that's not too many. There was this video by Dawa Man. I don't know what he calls himself now.
Yeah.
But the one about drinking your dad's sperm, it was like,
Yeah.
hey, atheist, why do you think it's wrong to drink your dad's sperm? It's like, look, if some hillbilly, weirdo and his dad, like adults, consensually want to do that,
Yeah,
I'm not saying go get them arrested. I'm just saying I don't want anything to do with it. And there's a difference between having a moral opposition to something and having a, either a social conditioning to not be into it, or just having like just a general gross feeling about it for whatever reason. There's many reasons to feel that way about things. But like, even if you have a moral opposition, you could still have that without believing in God. Moral opinions are a social phenomenon. Like, it's a thing that you make up yourself, and you get from your environment, like the people around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you get this regardless, right? Like, I have a moral oppositions to all kinds of things, but I've never believed in God, and I didn't even know it was a thing, really, when I was young, and I still had moral opposition to things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And my parents, dad is an atheist. Mom is, I don't know if she always believed this reincarnation stuff or if that was more recent, but it's certainly not a religious thing. There's no rules, there's no nothing, and she never told me about it when I was younger. So, that's like 2 generations essentially of non-believers.
I know, yeah. And you still got this model.
Yeah, like, and it was the same. Like, it wasn't like I was surrounded by a bunch of Christian friends or anything. Like, at least not outspoken ones by any means, because they never said anything to me about that either. Like, my friends,
it comes down to you want to treat other people nice, and
yeah, it's basically like, let's all get along. I mean, I guess it's different if you have like a moral opposition to walking around naked or something. That's like more of just a social conditioning. It's like, this is the thing I think is wrong. I guess. But
like when you were talking about the sperm thing, Darwin Man's video, I did watch that, and
talking about the what thing?
The sperm thing.
Okay.
I did watch that video, but do you believe there are things out of bounds? Like, I could say things like bestiality, a human having sex with an animal.
Yeah, basically, when it comes to sex stuff, it's mostly like a matter of consent, right? It's like, can the thing actually say yes to you?
Right.
And it's just a basic principle. It's like a principle that we've come up with as a society and decided, like, this works.
Yeah.
And it kind of minimizes the harm that you're doing. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same principle that you can apply to kids, or like really like mentally disabled people, or whatever.
It has to be a matter of consent between 2 people.
Yeah. And that's just it's a principle that we came up with, right? It's not like it's some sort of divine,
pretty fair
rule.
But what you're saying about the model things, you are right. Essentially, we don't have to believe in God to be moral. That's just something we feel inside, and
Yeah, and you might not even have any reason for
But
it at all. Like a
I'm
lot of people
talking about
don't.
but logic. I'm talking about the smaller models. The big models are easy if you don't believe in God. Things like talking to people and caring about people and just helping people and having a civil society and things like that. Those things are small models.
Sure. Well, let's start with the real basics.
They're not hard. That's like the fundamental model system that every human have because they're not hard. Like you're never finding yourself struggling to do that because I never do. I don't struggle to help people. I just don't. It's so natural. That's like the fundamental model. But what Islam it comes in and what religion comes in is for those deeper models. If you know what I mean. And
Okay, so an example would be like what?
an example would be something like. By the way, yeah, I might need to get a glass of water if you're not.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it.
Not now, but I came home really fast, so I'm a bit dehydrated and stuff. But I'll just finish off what I'm saying, and I'll be right back. But
sure.
There's like deeper models, for example, something like just wishing something good for somebody else as opposed to something bad, or a deeper model like trolling on YouTube, writing bad comments. Making people lose their confidence by trolling them on YouTube or writing those negative comments, which a lot of people do.
But you said
those are deeper models.
Well, okay, so you said that helping people and caring for people are the easy ones, is what you said, right?
Yeah, those are the easy models.
So how is trolling like and being a complete asshole, like essentially trying to get someone to kill themselves or whatever?
Yeah.
How does that not fall under caring for people? Or wishing well for people? Like that also falls under just caring for people.
Yeah, but how does that start when you troll somebody? It's an element of maybe jealousy of that person, or an element of not wanting them to succeed, or an element of them maybe hating themselves and not wanting other people to become good. So to control all of those elements, that's a deeper model fight, because there's something there which is causing them to hate you and to write negative comments. But if you're just generally helping people or generally having this moral compass, that's easy because there's no hate involved or there's no personal hate anything. But it's these deeper models which are very hard, I believe, if you don't have a religion.
To not troll people on YouTube.
To control all those instincts people might have to write negative comments or anything. Those are deeper models, and I believe that religion only gives you a control over those deeper models.
But isn't that the same basic thing? Like caring about people and caring for their well-being implies like...
Yeah, but when they see your logic, they might think inside, I wish I was like you. I wish I was a YouTuber successful.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah, so it's not just about caring for people. There's something there that is giving them angst. There's some kind of jealousy, or they don't hate you for the fact they hate you. They hate you because they might be thinking, oh, look how good he is, look how successful he is, or why can't I be like that? And why is he got more authority than me, or something like that?
So you're saying there's like a baseline level of caring about people, and then
you
have to suppress urges that make you stop caring about them, essentially, is what you're trying to get across.
You summed it up perfectly. I couldn't have summed it up better. That was just beautiful. You might need to like quote that and put it up somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just comes right back again to like the opinions that you've gathered either from personal experience or from your society, and it comes down to your principles and so on.
That's what it is. So to control the deeper models is very hard, I believe, on a mass scale.
Well, you said that my commenters are very nice people, by and large.
Yeah, they are. They're very. I'm not so. Yeah, they are very nice.
They're mostly atheists.
Yeah, but like I said, an atheist doesn't make you a bad person.
No, but you said without a god. And they're atheists.
But they might, a lot of them might be agnostic or might have...
They don't believe that there's a god.
Yeah, but they might have like a 0.1% faith where...
0.1% faith?
They might be open to it.
I'm open to it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because it's an intellectual position. It's like, well, yeah, it's not proven impossible, so therefore there's...
Exactly. So if you're a closed atheist, like 100% closed atheist, then it's going to be... But if you've got this
Are there
element,
any of those?
I mean, I'm sure there are somewhere.
Yes, I don't think I've ever met one.
I mean, I'm sure there's somewhere someone who is intellectually dishonest and
no, but if logic, what you say, your videos are religion based. So when people come to comment on your videos, they're gonna be moral because you're talking about morality. So they can't be immoral whilst you talk about morality and God and justice. But I'm talking about channels and which are not based on religion, which are just based on something like soccer or celebrity.
My videos are about how there's probably no God.
Yeah, so
I don't understand if it's an issue of whether there's a God or not that makes you have a hard time or not. Why would my commenters be better than on a video that's not about religion?
Because
probably most of the commenters are Christians.
Yeah, but they've got an obligation to be moral because that's what you're talking about in your videos. Moral.
They have no obligation to do anything.
No, but it's a subconscious moral like feel they have to.
Well, then it shows that it's pretty easy to have this kind of morality. Then,
but like I realized this when in the UK we've got this website, Yahoo, but Yahoo.co.uk, and under all the articles there's comment section.
Yes.
And I've been reading these comments for like years, and it's so hateful. It's unreal. Like, so many comments are just mockery or hateful or just, taking a piss off. And I just don't understand why you would want to do that.
Yeah, there are definitely those kind of people out there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not on my videos, and I just find it odd because you're saying, oh, you're talking about morality, therefore they're subconsciously thinking about morality or something. And well, okay, but then that shows that it's very, very easy. All you have to do is kind of have morality be a topic at all. It doesn't take a belief in a God or anything. It just is like, other people, would like me better if I acted a certain way. It's a social thing at that point, right? I mean, that's what it sounds like you're talking about.
What do you mean?
Like if I'm talking about morality and you think that that's encouraging people to be more, nice to each other and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's a social, you're in an environment where people are being a certain way. And so you're sort of being a certain way because you think people are going to like you better and you're going to come off better.
No, they've got a moral obligation to be good on your channel. But they might be good. I'm not saying they're bad people, but there's a further added moral obligation to be good.
I think it's more social utility, to be honest with you.
It's quite unanimous on your channel. There's actually not much hate in the comments.
There are a few. There's always those couple, but I really think it's like social utility, where it's like, if you enter into 4chan, like some deep, dark, message board where everybody's like being completely insane.
Yeah.
That's a very different environment. But if you enter into an environment where people are generally like being somewhat, they're having a discussion about ideas and they're doing it fairly civilly and this kind of thing, that's a very different environment. So it's kind of more about like who's around you and how you think that you're going to be, how you think people are going to see you and judge you.
Actually, you're right. It is a social thing. It's based
a large part of the reason that I try to be, that I try to rein things in, right? Like, because I could be. A lot of the things about religion make me very, very angry.
Right.
Like the hell thing and stuff like this. When people talk about that like it's acceptable, I don't find it acceptable at all. I could be incredibly vitriolic. Sometimes I do get angry, but I think it's relatively justified and
like logic.
Not too extreme. But the reason that I rein it in is because I know that there's people out there, and I want to be on good terms with those people. Do you know what I mean? Same with you.
Does hellfire make you angry?
Well, okay. Somebody says God is all good and all loving. And he set up a system by which you're going to burn forever for what you believe.
Yeah, but let me put it like this to your logic.
Okay, whether you believe it or not,
what about Hitler?
That is what a lot of people believe.
What about those people that consciously start wars to create misery and suffering and kill
fuck
people?
them.
Fuck them. So that's it. What they deserve, though, they require some kind of punishment for that.
It would be nice if they
yeah,
got it, but
if they're deliberately starting wars just to like
But I
hurt
don't think-
people, yeah,
I don't
by
think
other people.
That's
Then you
where hell comes in.
well, I don't think burning forever is really like. Yeah, they did some
No,
really,
not
really
burning
shitty
forever.
thing, but burning forever, that's a bit harsh.
It
No.
might be a bit harsh, but when they started those wars, they gave immeasurable suffering to those people that lost families.
Well, no, they didn't give an immeasurable suffrage. They gave a finite amount of suffrage. It was a large amount, but it was finite.
Many people may have lost their mothers. Many
Yeah.
people may have lost their fathers, so it's
Yeah,
immeasurable.
but it's still finite
You
suffering.
know what it
It's
feels
still
like?
finite. It's large, but it's still finite.
But
Yeah, large and infinite are
ask
very,
anyone
very
who lost
different.
their mother and ask them what they would do to get their mother back, and they would say, "I will do anything. I will even give you like £1 billion."
Yeah, £1 billion is finite.
That's what I mean. So, if you
Ask
start,
them if they would be tortured in a pit of fire for eternity to get their mother back, for literal eternity. And they might say yes, but that's because they don't understand what the word eternity means.
but if he was doing war and he won't stopping the war and allowing it to happen, and then you're saying he doesn't deserve any punishment for that.
No, we didn't say that.
We didn't say it doesn't deserve any punishment.
He doesn't
Punishment is
deserve
something that
infinite
people do to each other.
He doesn't deserve infinite punishment, is what you're saying.
Yes, because his crime wasn't infinite.
But it was, because when he killed that person in the war,
Okay.
that person wasn't able to produce kids and wasn't able to create a lineage for the future.
I mean, but that's still a finite thing. Like
No,
that
because-
person is not gonna get infinite kids.
No, because he killed that person in the war, so that person who he killed is got no future. Maybe if he didn't have kids, so you've killed off a whole future of a person.
Well, yeah, but that future
You do
was
that by
still
wearing
finite.
a condom too.
No, that future was infinite.
You do that by wearing a condom too.
Yeah.
So should you be infinitely punished for putting on a condom when you have sex with your wife?
yeah, but there's some instances where you don't put on a condom and you do conceive a child. So that's not.
So you should never wear a condom, and you should be punished eternally if you put one on.
No, but that's
Well,
your
it's the
choice.
same concept. It's
It's
the
not the
same
same
concept. There was a whole kid, a whole change to the entire future, cascading down through the ages because of
Yeah.
that one kid that never got born.
Yeah, but you've already created a future for your family by conceiving children anyway. Do you understand?
Well, I have, but that does. And now
So a
now
future
it's not
already-
going to happen. I'm not going to have a
Yeah.
second kid.
Yeah, but it
That's a
doesn't matter.
whole other future that could have existed. That's not
Yeah, so
going
it
to
doesn't
happen.
matter- It doesn't matter if extra futures are cut down because you have
They're
started.
different futures. It's a whole future that is not the current future that is being limited.
Yeah, but condoms. When were they created? Were they created? They were created recently. It's a recent invention.
No, it's pretty old. People used to
Doesn't
use.
matter when it was invented, though. It
Yeah.
matters. What you're talking about is how it impacts the future. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm not sure about
the difference between a child being born and a child not being born has the same impact on the future as if you like killed a child. It's infinite impact, right? It cascades throughout forever.
That's why religious people don't believe in abortion or don't believe in it.
I never said abortion. I said condoms.
Yeah,
Should you be eternally tortured in fire for putting on a condom?
But you've not started the life process yet. The semen's not gone into the woman. The life process hasn't started yet.
But it's still
Semen is
future-
alive.
It's still a potential child that is not being.
So should you get tortured for eating an egg
No,
or drinking cow's milk? Because
of course you shouldn't.
No, not for drinking
I'm
cow's
not the one who believes in hell for this.
No, should you be tortured for eating an egg? Because basically you didn't let that egg develop into a chick and a chicken. So should you be tortured for that?
No,
I
that's
don't know. Should you? You tell me.
yeah.
No, you
That's what we're asking you.
Yeah, we're asking you that.
Accepted. God allows you to eat eggs, right? And
Does
even though
God allow you to eat a human egg?
yeah, but even though you're eating that egg and you're restricting that life,
Does God allow you to eat a human egg?
yeah, no, a human egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, a human egg.
What's a human egg?
Women have eggs.
There's an
Oh.
egg cell.
What?
Oh, so you can just take it out and eat it.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
if you can
surgically.
find it.
If you can find it, they're very small, but
I mean,
they're there.
you could potentially like find someone who has had their ovaries removed, and then
you could chop out a whole ovary. Can you eat that?
That's plenty of that's enough to make an omelet.
You can't do cannibalism though, can you?
Okay, but does a human egg count as cannibalism? If it's just the egg, like after menstruation or something?
It's cannibalism.
Cannibalism?
Well, technically, yeah, but I mean, technically, kissing someone is cannibalism because you will get cells from them that you will then swallow.
Yeah, that's true. You will swallow their cells.
You are swallowing.
Okay, but can we get back to the original point?
Yeah, sorry.
Which was he really.
Let's not talk about.
Really
yeah, I know, it goes weird places. Let's not talk about Islam here. Let's take Islam off the table for a second and talk about hell in a very more general sense. Let's talk about it in a Christian sense, okay? And we'll talk about why it bothers me in that sense, because then any opinion that you have about how it works in your religion is.
I might need to go to the toilet and just get some.
Go for it. That's fine. That's fine. We don't have to start this whole thing right now.
I'll just be a couple of minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Go nuts.
He's going for his atheist prayer.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah, this is taking a weird turn.
Can you eat a human egg? That's going to be. That's an interesting topic. Does it count as cannibalism, do you think? I don't know if that counts as cannibalism.
I mean, I think it technically counts as cannibalism, but it's cannibalism in the same sense that walking through pollen is eating the plant.
Yeah, or if you lick someone.
Yeah, it's you're technically eating them, eating part of them, but it's not cannibalism in the sense you're not chopping off pieces of meat and frying them up and stuff
Right. Yeah, I think that's where it kind of crosses the line.
I mean, it's not like
one in the chat's human egg, really?
It's cannibalism in the same way that swallowing semen is technically not vegan.
To the guy, yeah, to the guy in the chat who says human egg, really? Is it just because we're discussing it, or is
I think
he
says
you are human eggs? These are two different things. Atticus says it's part of the woman's body until it's released, so I would say it's like eating their fingernails.
Yeah. I want to make a cookbook now based on human egg omelets.
I like how this is going to weird places. It lightens it up. I really did not intend for this to be a religious debate the whole stream, but that's fine.
I think it's unavoidable that it goes there.
Yeah, and he wanted to talk about it, so yeah. Okay. I don't feel too bad about it. It's all right. I like my no-nails with
I think it's supposed to be toenails.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably supposed to be toenails, but it's more fun if it's
actually Fuyoshi, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Peanut. Technically, fingernails are kind of released. It's just very slowly, the same way your hair is released. They're built from the bottom with the cells dying and then becoming full of keratin and being pushed out.
Is there how what exactly would count? If you scratch something and some of the fingernail comes off because you scratched it, I guess that's kind of being released in a way.
Well, the fingernail growing is new keratinized cells being released.
I understand, but I think what they mean by released is being actually separated physically from the body, kind of thing. You pull on it, it doesn't pull your finger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what they mean by release.
I mean, you lose skin cells all the time.
This is a very specific conversation. Yeah, skin cells. Yeah, you do. If you get dust in your mouth, you're getting skin cells in your mouth.
And dirt. Dust is actually not mostly human cells. It's mostly sand and dirt.
There's definitely skin cells in it.
There is.
So you're getting.
But if you really want skin cells, the better way to get skin cells is go to a
The
bed.
better way. I don't want a better way.
Okay, theoretically, if you wanted a better way, the way to do that would be to go to like a bed or blanket that someone sleeps in and then inhale through that.
Yeah, let's figure out the most efficient way.
Well, the most efficient way it would be to like cut them off, like just scrape them off into your mouth, or use them like you know those tens of. I'm not sure. I know what they're called in Britain, like hundreds of thousands. They're little candied sugar thing you put on ice cream.
I don't
like,
know.
or Parmesan cheese, like over your meatballs.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I hope he gets back soon.
Well, I just saw him, so
Yeah, but I hope he
So-
actually. I saw him twice. So.
Yeah,
Oh, hello.
yeah, I can hear you, Roger.
All right.
Just gonna.
Have you heard that whole conversation? Because you might
was-
not have wanted to.
I heard a bit of it when I was in the toilet.
That's awesome. It was it interesting?
No, I didn't hear much of it.
Oh, okay. We were talking about what counts as cannibalism and how to most efficiently get skin cells into your mouth.
Well, you'd have to edit.
and
You'd have to. Yes, what intention you have.
Yeah. It's only cannibalism if you do it for nourishment or pleasure.
if you just do it to be weird, then it doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be a cannibal just by being edgy, I think is the point. So would someone chewing their fingernail be auto-cannibalism?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I like being a cannibal. I do. I like chewing my nails and stuff. But no. Yeah, I don't. I actually like chewing stuff like.
Are you an ex-smoker?
Well, I smoke.
You do smoke?
Yeah, but very.
Is that allowed by the rules? I wasn't sure.
What of
That's an
Islam?
interesting topic.
What by Islam?
Yeah, yeah. Like I know that. Like, can you have coffee, for example?
In Islam, you can, yeah.
You can. Can you have? But you can't have alcohol.
You know, you can't have alcohol.
Yeah.
They were allowed though. Muslims were allowed to drink alcohol. Prophet Muhammad was allowed to drink alcohol for most of his life, and then and his followers.
He kind of lived at a point in time where drinking just water would have been a bad idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. That because like I could have sworn I've heard from at least some Muslims, and I know there's different sects or whatever, but sects, not sex. There's but that like they can't have coffee or anything like that. Like I've could have sworn I've heard that from someone.
Coffee came from Arab countries. That's where it originated.
Yeah, but it's like because it's like a drug and caffeine and I don't know.
No, but you can't take drugs. Anything that manipulates your chemicals in your brain or whatever.
Well, coffee does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but paracetamol does as well.
Yeah.
Well, paracetamol doesn't go into your brain.
Well, okay. I don't even know what paracetamol is. So
a cup of tea.
You're right.
A cup of tea has the effect on your brain as well.
Yeah. Same as coffee.
And it's antioxidants and stuff. But it's something that dies away naturally. It's not prolonged, is it?
I mean, so does heroin.
No, that kind of stuff can remain in change your body forever.
Brian Peck says you're confusing Mormons with Muslims. I really don't think I am. It might have just been some weird,
I think you are
far out there Muslims, dude. But
Muslims are much more relaxed than that.
I just because I've heard it from one weirdo on YouTube doesn't mean that it's a universal Muslim thing. Let's be very clear about that. It also doesn't mean that I didn't hear it. So, but I can provide absolutely no evidence of this because I have no idea who it was or when I heard it.
So, like, what? So, do you
That's why I
think
asked you instead of telling you. But anyway,
So
what?
do you think the things we can't do as Muslims? Do you think that's restrictive? Does that feel restrictive to you?
I don't really give a damn, frankly. Like, you can do whatever you want. If
Yeah.
you think that you shouldn't drink alcohol, go nuts and don't drink alcohol.
Yeah,
Fine.
I personally have drunk alcohol before. It's like you shouldn't drink alcohol, but if you do, it's not like a biggie, if you know what I mean.
You know, the only time I have a problem is if you tell me I can't drink alcohol.
No, you can. You can.
Yeah, because if you're not going to tell me that I can't, then I don't care if you think that you should.
You like a glass of wine or something.
Yeah.
You do. Red.
What?
Red.
Red wine. Like red, white, rosé, sparkling.
I think I missed a step in the conversation there somewhere.
What kind of wine? He asked you if you liked a glass of wine, and then you said yes.
I was probably talking or not paying. I'm losing track, man. I'm clearly going out of my mind here. Anyway, yeah, I like wine sometimes. Sure. Yeah.
I prefer beer, but yeah.
You prefer beer?
Yeah. I like beer. I like wine. I like whiskey.
I don't.
Whiskey is basically just old beer, so I mean, that is how you make it.
You like vodka?
It's all right. It really needs to be mixed with something because I don't like the taste of it on its own. It tastes like cough medicine.
Have you ever had really, really good vodka?
No, but the thing is, I'm not going to spend the money to get really good vodka.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing with vodka. You have to like spend a lot of money on to get something that doesn't taste like crap. Yeah.
I'm not like, but vodka that's actually affordable, which is the only vodka I've ever had, tastes like crap. So
yes.
Even the somewhat more expensive vodka, so it's I don't know. It's not very good. It's all right if you mix it into like a coffee or.
Yeah, it just gets smashed as quick as possible, though.
Yeah, it's there's not.
To get drunk.
That I would agree. That's kind of like a drinker's drink. Same with rum. I kind of have the same feeling about rum. Some people like to sip rum, but I don't understand that at all.
Yeah,
probably because in college I had a lot of times where I got very, very drunk on rum, and I just think of it as like a drinking drink more than a sipping drink.
Right.
It has this real medicinal flavor to it.
But
whiskey's nice.
Why doesn't something like Coke satisfy you? Why do you have to drink it? Because I'm satisfied by like fizzy drinks, to be honest.
I don't even really get drunk anymore. Like I did in years
ago.
Nothing
better than having a cool Pepsi or a cool Coke in my eyes.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good.
The burn you get in your body is satisfying.
Yeah. No, I'll sit down and have like a glass of whiskey
or
a beer or two or whatever, but I don't get drunk off of that. That's usually how I am these days. Very occasionally I will go and have a few more drinks to get the buzz, but yeah, it's not a big thing in my life personally anymore.
All right, cool. Do you smoke? You don't smoke beer?
I vape now a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't smoke, no. What do you get out of smoking? Just out of curiosity, like what is it about smoking that does it for you?
Well, for me, it's like it's similar to vaping. It feels nice, but I also like the period of like contemplation, if you know what I mean.
Having a time to just kind of shut down and stand outside and have your
Just when I smoke, I shut down. I just thinking about stuff which may be on my mind, or just
So it calms you.
The same way when you're having a shit in the toilet.
You can do both at once. That's like a double contemplation.
Like when you're having a crapping toilet, you always end up having these like crazy thoughts, don't you?
You do.
You do. You can't help it. You always contemplating.
That's where my best ideas come from.
You're always contemplating about something, aren't you? And that's what it's like when I'm having a smoke. I just enjoy that contemplation.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
but it's not healthy. I wouldn't encourage smoking. It's awful. I've been smoking since I've been about not that young, but I don't smoke that much. I smoke like one a day. Today I smoked one cigarette. It's usually one a day. I don't, and some days I go without smoking. Many days I go without smoking. So I'm not really a smoker. I'm just a casual smoker.
You're like a pack a week kind of person.
Well, a pack a bloody month.
Oh yeah.
Pack a month. Like I buy a packet of cigarettes. They come in 20 packs, so I buy them like once a month or even more than that. I don't smoke that much, but it's not good for you. It's really unhealthy. I wouldn't encourage smoking at all. It's because it gives you a lot of anxiety, I guess, and it pollutes your body. And if you start, it's hard to stop. And if I could go back, I would never have started smoking.
It's never nice
too
to have,
damaging.
especially an expensive habit too, like unhealthy, expensive, and
But it's too damaging to your health.
yeah,
You're just polluting your body with.
it's like paying out the nose to get cancer. Yeah, not really worth it.
Like I started smoking through like peer pressure and things like that. My best mate used to smoke, and then I started smoking with him because he was my best friend, and we used to smoke at breaks in college and stuff. And yeah, peer pressure is big in it.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Well, that goes back to the whole discussion we were having before about why you do certain things and why you don't do certain things, because peer pressure for humans is a big deal. Like we're very, very like essentially like tribal based, you know. You know, at the very basic like natural level, I think we're very into adhering to group expectations. Which I think also is a big reason why religion is so popular as well, because like you get the group believing in a thing, and it's really hard to break out of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you say with your family, like if you believe a different thing,
it's very hard.
I mean, especially maybe not your family so much because you're saying like they would still be accepting, but there are a lot of people that I hear from who say like, man, I came out as an atheist and my family just completely won't talk to me now. They think I'm of the devil.
Yeah, I understand that. It does happen. Yeah, that's not nice to hear because your son is still your son and your mom's still your mom, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, and it's like, the weird thing is, I guess they're worried about like corrupting the rest of the tribe, like a bad apple spoils the bunch or something. But it's like, you would think if you were a parent and your kid says, I'm an atheist, and you think, oh my God, my kid's going to go to hell, you would draw them closer, if anything, and try to kind of, try to, do the best you can to pull them back in or something.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're doing sometimes, but I think by doing it, they're pushing them away because they're pulling too hard a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying earlier. There's such a strong divide what Muslims believe in and what religious people believe in between good and bad. So they assume that when you become atheist, you've gone bad. So you can't change that back to good. Do you understand that?
Yeah. How does that tie in with your remember your idea of that you were tested in a previous life and what you do in this life is the result more than the test, right? So how does that tie in? Like if you become an atheist,
so when they was a believer, they were saying to their family that they have faith through their mouth, but the insides of their body was not believing or not good. But when they become atheist, the insides of their body becomes the same as the outside of their body.
So essentially you're saying that, if you become an atheist, you were never a believer in the first place? Because I think there's a lot of atheists who would beg very strongly to differ with you on that, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just close the curtain because it's nightfall and I don't like it when it's night and the curtains are.
Yeah, everyone looking in.
Yeah.
I know I've heard people say that you can't drink coffee as a Muslim before. I know I have, but it's specific people. It's different, ideas about it. But it's because it affects your mind. Like you said, it is a drug that affects your mind, and so some people go take it further than you've taken it.
I mean, so does hockey.
Yeah, but it's a substance, right? It's a substance you're putting in your body.
What hockey? What did you say? Microblog?
Hockey. Like giving someone a hug, that will release a bunch load of chemicals in you.
But it's not an external drug, I think, is the difference that they're thinking of. Of course, when they came up with these rules, I'm sure they didn't know that there even were chemicals in your brain.
Probably not, no.
Or that your brain does the thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, Logic, it's just okay. Have some coffee. I'm definitely having some coffee after this.
I'm not. I don't drink coffee, so.
Oh man, wait. So you're like doing all this academic stuff and you don't drink coffee?
No, I don't need to. I naturally just stay awake.
I could smell the curry that my mum's made downstairs.
Oh man, is it getting to be eating time?
It
Gonna
is.
have to wrap it up soon, or
No, it's fine. I enjoy this, but if you wanna, but
it's a good chat, man. Like I'm really glad that you came on. I thought that you were. I thought that when you weren't replying there for a little while, I thought like, oh man, he got cold feet or something.
Yeah, I didn't have internet data left on my mobile, so I couldn't get through to you. So I got to a place where I had Wi-Fi or something, and then I could tell you. Sorry about that, because I didn't try to get late on purpose, but
yeah, no problem. It was like a suspense moment because I was here in the chat being like, guys, I don't know, I haven't got a reply from him. I don't know if he's gonna show up, and we were all like chewing our nails, like, oh man, this might fall through.
You thought I was
putting out little messages to people like, hey, I don't know, this guy might not show up. Maybe we have to like fill in with you guys, or.
But you saw my Twitter. My Twitter had my photo on it, so you still won't believe it.
Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know for. Besides, like, even if it was you,
you get a lot of imposters around there.
Even if it was you,
they wouldn't want to imposter. Why would you want to be an imposter of me?
Well, to get Logic's attention, if you want, like, if let's say someone like wanted to like mess around with Logic and troll him, then pretending to be you would be a really good way to do that.
Yeah, the only other person would be John Pendleton, and they know I wouldn't believe that.
Because John Pendleton working a computer is never gonna happen.
Now, see, as much of a fan as I am of yours, and as as classic a content that I think that that my responses provided to my channel to you, John Pendleton is like 10 times the mythical fish in the lake that you're fishing for, that you're trying to get that live stream with.
Yeah,
but I just can't, man.
Who is he?
He's a creationist. He's the first creationist that I ever responded to.
What's his name again? Sorry,
John Pendleton. He's essentially
he's a mechanic.
The auto mechanic. He's essentially this guy in Mexico who like took Kent Hovind's arguments, repeated them verbatim, including the jokes, but like really, really awkwardly in front of like this really hilariously bad, like it was like a blue curtain with like a plant and
in a lab coat.
And a lab coat. He put on a lab coat to pretend to be a scientist.
Well,
remember, he calls himself a chemist, but he like went to like he got like a bachelor's degree and then like did his he like worked in a cancer lab, probably was like an assistant or something for like a year, and then he's like 60 years old and calls himself a chemist.
Oh, really? What's his main argument? What's his like main argument thing?
It's Christian young Earth creationism, so it's all about Noah's flood and
catching pterosaurs.
Yeah, the Earth is 6,000 years old. Hey, how old do you think the Earth is?
Oh, well, God in the Quran does say dinosaurs existed. He does.
In the Quran, okay.
There's a verse where God says, "First, I created something along these lines." I'm not 100% certain, but it's something like, "I created the heavens, the universe, and then I created Earth, and then after that, I created all these wild beasts and to roam around the Earth." So when he said, "I created these wild beasts to roam around the Earth," that's probably dinosaurs or something like that.
Well, wild beasts, like every beast.
Yeah,
it's like a tiger, an elephant.
He specifically says to roam around the Earth, so there's like some meaning to it, which means it's big animals or something. But
it'd be
elephants.
Yeah, but
and tigers.
Zebras roam around.
It could be dinosaurs, and then he says after that, then
it could be dinosaurs. We'll give you it could be dinosaurs.
I mean, I would say that dinosaurs would probably be included in that category, but I think it's more just more just animals in general?
No,
I think
no,
it's
because,
general.
no, because God, in the same verse, he talks about he also created mountains. So,
Well, okay.
so see, no, God says, "I created mountains as pegs on the earth to hold on."
Yeah, that's a whole other story. But what does that
Yeah,
have
so
to do with
basically
dinosaurs?
this whole verse is one of grandeur. It's like the strength of the universe, the strength of the earth, the strength of the mountains, and along with it, the strength
Oh,
of
okay, so it's all like old stuff.
it's all big stuff basically. So when he says beasts along with
I
mountains,
mean, dinosaur, like the average dinosaurs saw wasn't actually that big. Like it was the size of like a medium-sized dog. Most of the species were pretty small.
no, but yeah, in my town where I live, there was like a replica dinosaur, like fully sized replica, the T-Rex, and
Cool.
T-Rexes
yeah,
are big for
that
sure.
was pretty cool. It was like fully just a full life replica in my city, and they could like reach speed miles up to about I read about up to about 20, 30 miles per hour.
Does this really, like, just honest question, like, does this actually convince you that the Quran was talking about dinosaurs? Because it sounds incredibly tenuous.
It might be, it might not be, but that's what I think. Because
Right, but it might have been, it might not have been, does not mean that it did been.
no, because he was talking about mountains in the same verse. So I'm just figuring if he put beasts around the earth to hold the earth down, to make the earth stronger. If you know what I mean.
Wait,
That's
he put, what was that? Was that about mountains? Was that about beasts? I missed that part in the middle there. Can you repeat
Yeah,
that?
I was just thinking, in the same way he created mountains to firm up the earth and to, make them as pegs.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the dinosaurs had a similar job.
To hold the
Stomp,
earth down.
yeah, to stomp around the earth.
To stomp the earth down, to keep it down, because it flapped around like a blanket, right?
But Jurassic Park, that's a frightening movie, isn't it? The first one.
Yeah, no, it's effective.
I remember getting nightmares about that when I was a child.
Remember when remember when the guy gets eaten like from the toilet and you're like, I'm not safe anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. That does that seriously convince you though? Like I don't understand.
It might not be, but the way God says it, I put in wild beasts to roam around the earth. Birds roam, do they? What roams?
I just there's
Shall I
so
find
many
you?
wild beasts.
Shall I find you the exact verse? Shall I repeat? I'll find you the exact verse on Google, and
Sure.
I'll just say what it is exactly, because I don't know
Sure,
exactly.
why not?
I'll just find it.
Use whatever translation you like, unless it explicitly says dinosaurs, in which case I find that very questionable. But I doubt there's one that actually explicitly says dinosaurs.
Let me just find the exact verse. I'm just trying to think what it said. It said something like, God created earth, then mountains and beasts.
People having an argument in the live chat here? I'm done dignifying your trolling with any further answers. I don't know who.
Yeah, one person has been weirdly confrontational. I'm not sure what it's about.
Okay. I find this dinosaurs topic very interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's there. Let me just find it. I don't know where I got the exact verse, but
Atticus says if you own a pet bird, you own a dinosaur. It's like, yeah, maybe the Quran was talking about parrots are the wild beasts that roam the earth. Maybe that's it.
I mean, they are pretty wild. Have you ever tried to like it takes a long time to actually like tame a parrot? They're really, really aggressive.
They're fucking bastards. I hate birds.
Yeah. I like them, but I wouldn't have I don't think I would have them as a pet.
Oh, like my dentist office, like years and years and years ago, had like 2 parrots in a cage, and it was like, yeah, you can talk to the parrot.
I found the verse. I found the verse. I found the verse.
Okay, sure. What is it?
But this website might be a bit anti-Muslim, so let me just
I see.
let me just get the verse and then put its real.
Yeah, the verse number and then or whatever,
Yeah.
and then find
I
it.
don't know if I trust it. So right, Quran.com is pretty trustworthy, I think.
Quran.com is and it has like lots of different translations as
Right.
well.
So this is it. He created the heavens without pillars that you see, and has cast into the earth firmly set mountains. Hest it should shift with you, and dispersed therein from every creature. And we
Every
send
creature.
yeah. But there's different. Let me get another.
Yeah, just click all the translations on there. Like you can if you're just on one verse, you can click, I think just click like the translation name or something and just check them all off, and then you'll see them all.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to find where the translation thing is, but right. How do you know how to change the translation thing?
I can check right now if you want.
Well, can you go 3110? Quran 3110.
3110. All right. Oops, that I did not type right. 3110. All right. And now where is I think the problem is that we're just on one verse here. Let me just go. I'm just going to go to 31 and then I'll scroll down to 10. I think that might work. Wait, how does this settings? Oh, here we go. I found it. I forgot how this works.
Because one translation says, and he scattered through it beasts of all kinds.
Okay.
One says, he created the heavens without any pillars that ye can see. He set on the earth mountains standing firm, lest it should shake with you. And he scattered through it beasts of all kinds. We send down rain from the sky and produce on the earth every kind of noble creature in pairs.
I don't see how beasts of all kinds means dinosaurs.
Yeah, but
I have to be real.
That's what I mean. It's like because he's talking about the formation of the universe and the earth and how we all started.
Well, dinosaurs are nowhere near the start of the earth.
No, and there's a bunch of stuff before them.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff, but they're pretty close to the start, aren't they?
No, they're very, very, very far from the start.
Yeah,
when are the first dinosaurs? Microblogganism, do you know this off the top of your head?
The first dinosaurs would appeared somewhere early in the Triassic. I don't remember the exact year.
So
the exact amount of time ago.
Approximately 200. I'm just Googling first dinosaurs and taking it as fact here, because approximately 230 million years ago.
Yeah.
That sounds about, that rings a bell, I guess.
Yeah,
230 million years compared to about 4 point something billion. And maybe 3 point something billion for
to be fair, I think we should just say like big life, like multicellular terrestrial life, because the verse we're talking about here is clearly about big land animals.
All right, first terrestrial life.
No, animal, because you have terrestrial life.
What was the first animal on Earth? Do you know?
It would have been some kind of fish amphibian-like thing, something along
above water. It would have been a bird, wouldn't it? Or something.
No, it would have been something like Ichthyostega.
Sorry.
Something like Ichthyostega.
No, an actual like mammal, not like
not a mammal. Mammals came much later. This would have been like a imagine like a giant salamander, basically.
What's that? Salamander.
Newt. A newt.
We're getting increasingly specific with this, though. If it's talking about the formation of the Earth and life and everything, I don't see why you have to specify like, land-based animals. That seems a little oddly specific.
Well, it says to roam about the earth, like
he scattered through it beasts of all kinds. That's what it says.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I guess you could have things on the water as well.
Yeah, you could do.
I mean, then the question becomes what qualifies as a beast. Like if
and what qualifies as roaming? Because you could say that like fish are like roaming around underwater.
Well,
I guess.
Then you would probably have some of the I guess some of the like Cambrian, like big Cambrian predators, and when I say big in Cambrian times, that would have been like 1.5 meters.
I
Because-
feel like we're down a rabbit hole here that we
Yes,
don't
we
need to go
are.
down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one. I don't know when the world started. Approximately how many years do you think it is?
The world, the universe,
Yeah,
the world or the universe, like which one?
the world.
What is it? What's the best estimate now? 4.5 or something? Is it
4.56. You can always remember it. It's 456
Billion.
billion years. That's the age of the Earth, and then you have somewhere between 3.6 and 4 billion, and that's there you have the origin of life.
Right.
And then you have to go up to like 500 million years ago to get life that isn't single cellular.
Yeah. And you believe in this evolution of human beings from, Homo.
And I don't believe it. I accept it based on the evidence, because that's what the evidence points to.
It depends how you define believe, I guess. At that point,
okay.
It's like if you.
But I don't believe it.
How do you know when they're just bones? How do you know that they look like that?
You can learn a lot from bones. You can learn how muscles were attached, how much they were used, how much stress certain bones were under. You can even make estimates, fairly rough estimates, but they are still reliable to at least a usable extent.
Yeah, that's
of how thick how thick an animal, how like fat deposits and stuff like that. With some animals, you can even recognize their sex based on if you have enough skeletons.
Yeah, that's funny because God does say in the Quran about these kind of creatures that were like half human and half ape-like. He talks about these people that used to live in the caves, and they were short, squatty people, and they were basically a bit like the Homo, whatever they call it. So
well, there've been a bunch.
Yeah, so God does talk about these kind of people in the Quran, these squatty people that used to live in the cave, like cavemen. So,
is this on the same level as the wild beasts thing, or?
There's a verse in the Quran somewhere.
Yeah, but there was a verse in the Quran that says there were dinosaurs too, and I don't think there really is.
Yeah, there's something
I'm talking about the level of specificity.
It doesn't say dinosaurs specifically. No.
Well, I know it wouldn't use the word, but it doesn't even describe them at all.
No, it just says beasts.
The Bible does a better job describing them, and it's probably describing a hippo.
Yeah, no, it's just the context of this verse. He talks about the heavens, and then he talks about the mountains, and then he talks about beasts, and then he talks about rain from the sky, and then he talks about producing on earth every kind of noble creature in pairs. There's like a chronology of power in this verse. Heavens to mountains to beasts to rain to creatures in the earth. You understand? This whole verse has got a chronology of power.
Chronology of power.
Yeah, so first he goes from the heavens, then he goes to the mountains, then he goes to the beasts, then he goes to rain, then he goes to the creatures on the earth. So I'm assuming from this chronology of power in this verse that when he says that he scattered beasts of all kinds, that it could be dinosaurs because.
So rain is mid power between dinosaurs and every other animal?
Sorry?
Rain is the middle step of power between dinosaurs and every other animal? Like rain is less powerful than a T-Rex, but more powerful than a donkey?
No, like rain is what humans need at the end, but it comes afterwards. Like there's more important things before rain, like creating the earth
Sure,
itself.
but it comes after the dinosaur part of the verse and before the creatures on the earth, you said, or something like that, right?
Yeah. So it comes after the beasts, and then it comes before every creature on the earth.
Right. So, but you're saying it's a power, like it's lined up by power level.
Exactly.
So it's like dinosaurs are like ultimate power level, and then rain is like kind of moderate power level.
And dinosaurs, or whatever beasts means. I don't know what beast is. It animals or is it something more? but they're quite powerful.
So there's like really badass animals that can punch the
Yeah.
rain.
So, like logic, I wouldn't have said dinosaurs if there wasn't this chronology of power. I would never even have thought that. But because there's a chronology of power in this whole verse, that's the only reason I'm suggesting it might be.
A T-Rex could definitely beat up a cloud. That's
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just like that came before water, if you know what I mean. That's how important animals are. That's what
dinosaurs came before water.
That's what it is.
That doesn't make sense.
Not came before water, but like
Before rain.
No,
Before
everything.
Rain. There was no rain before dinosaurs.
Everything on this earth needs water, but God can create things without water as well, as is shown. Separate from it.
So the dinosaurs existed before there was rain?
No, but God can do it.
Yeah, but you're saying the verse says he did do it, though. If the wild beast means, if it's chronological and the wild beasts are dinosaurs, then they were made before the rain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but no, that it's not like a fixed in chronology, but there is a chronology. God starts with the heavens, then he talks about the whatever. So there is some kind
of. It's not a fixed chronology.
No,
so
it's
just a hierarchy then.
Yeah, it's just it's not like a fixed chronology from point to point, but it's just a overriding chronology. The verse is done a chronological way, and that's one thing.
How do you compare the power of a dinosaur to the power of a rain?
I mean, the rain can come before the beast, but there's just some vague chronology in this verse, and it's not fixed, but there is some kind of chronology, and that's all I'm saying. But that's what made me think it might be dinosaurs, or it might be big animals, like whatever big animals are, big elephants and big, those ice age mammals that used to exist and things like that. They're quite huge. They're elephants actually very heavy. Elephants and mammals are very heavy animals. Maybe more than even.
I mean, the biggest animal we have is a mammal. So yeah.
I'm just really trying to understand how, like, you're saying it's a power thing, and you're saying because it's a power thing, you come up with the idea of dinosaurs or big animals. But I don't even know how you've established the power thing. Like, how do you compare the power of a mountain and the rain?
Well, because God started off the verse by talking about creating the universe, the heavens without any pillars, and then he talks about the mountains to hold the earth down as pegs, so we don't be shaken. So there's a power thing going on. Do you understand?
No, I don't.
He's saying he created the heavens without any pillars. He's stabilizing the universe, and then he's saying he created mountains to act as pegs on this earth, so the earth doesn't shake. So he's stabilizing the universe. I mean, he's stabilizing the earth with mountains. So basically, what says I'm using mountains to stabilize the earth as pegs.
That's a whole other subject that
without
we won't
mountains,
get into, I don't think, right now.
Without mountains, this earth might just like blow up. Really, I don't know. I don't think it'd be able to withhold itself.
I think we need to just agree to disagree on this one, man.
Yeah.
So, do you believe that the mountains have some, really strong strength of its nature on this planet?
Strength? In what sense?
Like, could we?
They're hard. They're made out of rock.
Yeah, but could we? Yeah, could this earth exist without mountains? Do you believe that?
Well, you'd have no tectonic plate movement.
Oh, hotspots.
Yeah, but could it still be?
Mountains are a side effect of like the
if you
inner
flatten
heat of the earth, right, essentially, because it's like that's what keeps everything in turmoil, which is what keeps plates moving around, which is what keeps plates colliding into each other and forming mountains.
Yeah, that's true. But if
they're not the thing that's making it work, they're the thing that's the side effect of it working. And if the Earth was just a dead planet, then it wouldn't really.
We would still have mountains. I mean, Mars has no tectonic plates, and that still has mountains because it used to have volcanic activity. So we still get
volcanic activity as well is another.
Still get hotspots.
You wouldn't. I was thinking more of like the mountain ranges.
Yeah, you wouldn't really get that. Although there are some of the there are some places without tectonic plates that still have that because of strong tidal forces, like some moons of the bigger of the gas giants.
Yeah,
But that's very different.
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like, obviously, we're gonna disagree and stuff. I'm gonna be a believer, and you're gonna be a disbeliever. Well, not disbeliever, but you're gonna be very
Unbeliever.
very agnostic. Yeah. Is there anything that would change your mind on this, or are you set on this? I don't want to change your mind, by the way. I don't want to.
Well,
Change my mind on.
Yeah, I don't want to
what?
break up relationships. Like, I never try to convert people. Really, I don't want to.
I have no relationships that would be broken up.
Yeah, I don't want to convert people because I realize
I would have a lot of friends and family that would think it was like a bit weird, but they wouldn't like the relationship will still be there. I would just have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be curious. I think.
Yeah.
They would be very. Like,
Yeah, that's the word.
really, like that's a big change, but I don't think anyone would be like not talking to you anymore or
Yeah.
anything like that.
So what, you would be willing to convert, or is that set in stone? You wouldn't.
I would be
I mean,
willing if I was intellectually convinced.
Yeah.
Intellectually convinced. You don't need physical proof then.
Physical proof? Well, it depends what we're talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, basically, it doesn't have to be physical proof because it has to be something that would convince me, right? If something that is not physical would convince me, then I'm perfectly willing to accept that I would be convinced, right?
So anything I've said doesn't hit any chord or anything.
No.
Really? Even when I talked about love, the enduring light of love.
No.
No.
No, I find that concept absolutely absurd.
I believe there's enduring love.
Well, that's lovely, but I don't. So I don't know what to tell you, man.
I don't believe love can die. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I believe love is a function of the brain, and the brain can die, so therefore love can die.
Because I know what I've been through in life, and I know my sensory abilities, like which is private to me, but I know what faculties I have, sensory and otherwise, and I'm telling you, all the biggest light you have is not your senses, is not your smelling, is not your taste, is not your emotions. The biggest light is what you have around your love. And I know that because I've been through life and I've been through issues, and I'm telling you now, the biggest light is not your senses. The biggest light is not how you feel. The biggest light is always love, and the light is the biggest love, the biggest force of humanity and humanness. And I'm only saying that
love is really great, and that's great.
Yeah, so let's think about
if
that.
you think it's more important than the senses or whatever, that's awesome. That doesn't mean that anything supernatural.
If your senses were to just leave you now and you couldn't feel, you became basically a robotic person in terms of having no emotion.
My senses are deceiving me right now. They do that all the time.
Not deceiving you if they were totally unavailable. If you became an absolute person that couldn't smell or taste or hear or
so I'm just like locked in my brain, and all I have I can think, and that's it.
No, but what I mean is that you still have the ability to feel or something in your body, don't you?
Yeah. You can have emotions as a person with no senses. Yes.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can have emotions as a person without no senses. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And how is that emotion fueled if you have no senses?
I don't know. I guess it would feel interesting because you.
Well,
it's
it
like
depends
being in a sensory deprivation chamber. But
I'll tell you. I know how it happens. Not in an arrogant way, but it happens just from the love in your heart and your soul.
You're asking how it happens?
Yeah.
You're not asking how it feels.
You can have emotions without senses.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, because your brain is still working.
Yeah, no, yeah, but your brain can't smell or feel anything.
Well, actually, what happens when you cut off? If you were to cut off all the senses, the brain would get really, really confused, and it will start making up things to feel. It would start making up sensory input.
Yeah,
so
that happens in those sensory deprivation tanks, doesn't it?
Yeah, your brain would make sensory input. Like what? Give me an example, please.
Well, I can actually give you something you can try. If you take a pair of headphones and play white noise, and take a pair of
white noise. I just noticed a dummy in your mouth. Sorry, dummy you got in your mouth. That's quite cute. I didn't see that before. But right.
So you take a pair of headphones with white noise and play that, so you drown everything else out, and then you take a ping pong ball and cut it in half and put it in front of your eyes, and then look into a light so it's just white. If you do that and sit still for like 10 minutes or something, you will start hallucinating. Basically, you will start dreaming while you're awake because your two most important senses aren't getting any input.
Right.
Your brain can't make sense of it, so it just starts making shit up.
Yeah, but that doesn't lead to the emotion in your body. You're just hallucinating. But where does the emotion come from?
Your brain is a big old emotion machine. I don't.
Yeah, it's all like you always have emotions.
That's why I disagree.
It's like there's a confusion here between senses. It's like there's a confusion here between sensory input and feeling things in general, like having emotional feeling.
But
because these are not the same thing. You don't need sensory input to like have memories, to have thoughts, to have feelings.
You're right.
You don't need this. These are not connected. I mean, they are connected in the sense that one kind of generates the other one, but
so what makes you feel good then? That ignites that feeling in your body.
Well, let's say that you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're blind, deaf, you can't feel anything, you can't smell anything, you can't taste anything. You're sitting there and you're like, oh damn, I can't see or hear anything. And you start thinking back on all those moments, all those things that you saw, all those things that you heard, and you go, wow, that makes me feel real good thinking back on that. I sure hope I get to that again.
Well, maybe not at first. I think at first, if that happened, I would probably
right in the first 2 seconds, you'd be freaking the fuck out, and that's an emotion too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't understand the confusion with this. It's like whether you can sense or not does not mean that you can't have emotions. These are two different things.
They are two different things.
One influences the other one, sure, but it doesn't all of a sudden.
Exactly, Logic. You just said it there. They're two different things.
Yeah.
The most easiest way to feel is to have some sensory input through your nose or through your taste, and then your body translates that into emotion because you've ignited some kind of memory. You've ignited some kind of memory with that. For example,
sorry.
You've ignited some kind of memory with that action. So you could be having a good time with your mate, having a drink, and then that good time you had with your friend ignites the fun and the memory and the sensory stimulation. So sensory stimulation is linked with memory. And
so are you saying that if you go into a sensory deprivation tank where you're deafened, you're blind?
Yeah, I've got experience on this. If your sensory is less than the normal person, or it's very muted, you need other things. You need to find, what you do is you make meaning of life, and you find love through belief in God or love in those kind of things, which will give you back that sensory stimulation again. For example, if someone doesn't have sensory stimulation in this life, he'll believe in God, because in paradise he will regain that sensory stimulation. Does that make sense? That's the way it is. Well, I wouldn't say I've got experience, but I'm just saying, like, I understand this, but that sensory stimulation is the easiest way to have fun and to have emotions. But if you take that away, then you start, what gives you happiness and what gives you emotion is,
you might not have happiness. You might be miserable as hell.
You might be. I'm not. I mean, I know you're like, people say I look miserable on my video.
That's a joke.
I'm not really. Like, I'm happy. I'm only happy because I've got this meaning and everything in place around me. Like,
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you're saying what makes you happy if
nothing
you
can get
lose
me
all of
down.
your senses all of a sudden, and it's like, well, you know, you might feel happy at some point, you might not, because you might be like, oh my god, my life is hell now. I'm stuck in this body. I can't even feel anything.
No, well,
So,
I
but
can
you would
feel.
still have emotions, like negative
Yeah,
emotions.
I can feel. I can do. I can do. I'm just saying. Imagine if you didn't have that.
I understand, and I'm saying, imagine if you didn't have that. How would you just suddenly stop feeling anything? At the very least, you would feel freaked out.
Yeah, but then you use your intellectual stimulation for happiness. Do you understand?
Yeah, you might think back on things, for example. Yeah, think of your memories or whatever. That's what I was saying.
So
But
if
I
you
mean, those emotions are just as much emotions as the emotions you get from getting sensory inputs. Like it's the
Yeah.
same brain circuitry doing it.
Yeah, there's still emotions, like just because it's a different
you
stimulus.
can have an intellectual emotion, like you can enjoy reading a nice book or without any senses, but you can intellectually you can make intellect an emotion. You understand?
But it's not. We're not even talking about intellect
But
necessarily.
it
It's
can
like,
become an emotion,
you know,
just like fun and
thinking
games.
back on your life, for example. Is that an intellectual pursuit in the way that you're thinking of it, in the same way as reading a book?
Yeah, the memory gives you happiness. Like I said, memory.
Yeah, how is that not an emotion?
That is an emotion. Like I said, intellect itself can be.
Then I don't understand what your point is.
No, but my point is that's something that happened in the past. So
yeah, but your emotion is something that's happening right now.
Yeah, but your brain is just remembering of something that happened in the past. Your brain is not having the happiness now. It's just remembering
of
something.
If you think of something that makes you feel happy now, you feel happy now.
But if you were born without those senses and you never experienced it, then what would you do? If you was born senseless, then how would you wouldn't have any memories. So what would you do then?
Oh, I think you'd have a wild ride.
That's what I mean. So what would you do then? You would create other ways to.
Oh, I think your brain would probably just be going nuts at all times.
Yeah, exactly. But you would find something. Humans adapt, evolve. Humans have got much more strength on.
Yeah, what exactly? Humans adapt. They would still feel emotion because it's not like their emotional centers are broken. It's just they have no sensory input.
Because the senses, yeah, emotions, they will adapt. They will somehow adapt. Like, you know, I was reading this story about this tennis player, and he's on the actual tennis circuit, and I don't know what rank he is, like something like 300 currently, but he's deaf. He was born deaf, and his mindset is, I'm not different to it. I'm like, I accept I'm not different to anyone else. It's not a handicap. I don't understand what it is to be hearing. So I just understand what it is to be deaf. And he's a good tennis player. He's like a Chinese or Japanese or something, an Asian player, but he's adapted. You understand? He never knows what it's going to be like to hear. He never knows. He never knew what it felt like to hear.
Yeah, what does this have to do with whether he can feel emotions?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is he's covered up that emotion and using his intellect.
He's covered up an emotion?
He's covered up he's using his brain.
Are you saying that people who are deaf are by definition emotionally stunted?
No, but they've never experienced the emotion of hearing that humans have.
Well,
hearing's not an emotion. Hearing is a sense.
It's a sense.
It's a sense, but that translates into an emotion. Like hearing the beauty in your voice makes me hearing the beauty of the voice of your wife or something, or your mother, gives you a great sensation, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can have sensations from other things too.
Yeah,
like you still
I mean,
have.
but that specific sensation they will not understand until they hear.
Yeah, if you're deaf, you will not have emotions caused by hearing.
Yeah, exactly.
You will still have emotions, and you
You'll
will
still
still
have
be as emotionally capable as anyone else.
You can still be as emotionally capable, unless all the other senses are taken away. But all the other, you were born without nothing, just a robot.
Can we like clarify what the original point of this was? Because I feel like we're just walking around in circles.
The original point of it is basically, if you don't have senses or emotions or anything, you're gonna create meaning to this existence. You're gonna create God. You're gonna create heaven and hell. You're gonna create something, anything, because life's not worth living. If you're just a robot, is life worth living? I don't believe it is. If you're emotionless, senseless, is life worth living? It's not.
If you're emotionless and senseless, well,
Who
that's
is
kind of
that?
an irrelevant thing because humans aren't.
That's what I mean. But if you, that's what I'm believing God because I'm thinking. Because no, there are many humans that are in that state actually.
Emotionless and senseless.
Not senseless, but emotionless. I could give you the example of like drug addicts, heroin users, and their brains are so.
Heroin users are not
Heroin
emotionless.
users have a lot of emotions.
Yeah, that's what heroin does.
They have
That
a lot
is
of
what
emotions
heroin is.
whilst they take the drug, but if they over abuse that substance, then what happens? Your brain goes the opposite way and it starts
No,
losing.
they if you're addicted to heroin, you have emotions, really strong emotions while you take the drug. And then once you're off the drug, you get really, really strong emotions because you are addicted.
Yeah,
but
you're desperate at that point. The
yeah, but
emotion
you're
of
right.
desperation.
But if you take it too much microblog, then you could have a permanent loss of memory or permanent loss of sense of emotion. You can get to that state. That's what I'm saying. If you take it once or twice, maybe it won't affect you. But if you're
saying that people take. You're saying that heroin users get to the point where they turn into vegetables.
No, they can do it if you over misuse a substance.
Like an overdose, but not to the point of death, is what you're saying?
Sorry?
And you like an overdose, but not to the point of death, and so you end up as a vegetable?
Yeah.
Is that even a thing?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Well, they're like using a substance where the brain's not working to the.
It sounds like something out of Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, but like
The
logic.
reefer madness of the modern
What I'm
age.
trying to say is that that's why it's good to have a meaning and to our existence, and that's why it's good to have things in place, because there's going to be people in society like this, brain vegetable state because of drugs or something. And
So you mean being in a coma?
Yeah, exactly.
being in a coma. So that's why.
But I mean, that's a bit unfair because you also don't have emotions when you sleep. Like
we can go all day about whether being an emotionless vegetable person is fulfilling, but I don't really understand what it has to do with the conversation about belief in God and why you should believe in God, and I don't get the connection.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it's interesting.
Like, okay,
but...
I don't want to be a vegetable.
Logic, like I'll just repeat what I said then. If you're a robot, is this life worth living? If you're a robot,
what do you mean by a robot?
No emotions, no senses, no feeling. You're just
that's going to whether you're an emotionless vegetable person. We're not. None of us in this chat are.
Some people are. I'm telling you.
Okay, but none of us in this chat are.
Well, some people are out there. I'm telling you, heroin users.
That's fine. But none of us are. So you're talking about why you should believe in God, and you're saying if you're a robot, emotionless vegetable person, life's not worth living. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll grant it to you. How does that get us to God?
Yeah, so I'm saying God caters for everyone, even those vegetable people. And that's why he goes to paradise. Is it fair? It's not fair, really, for those people to be in that vegetative state for the rest of their lives without any heaven.
Okay, but that's just a belief about God then. I don't... How does this... Aren't we talking about why you should believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't care why a vegetable person, robot person should believe in God. Tell me why I should believe in God.
Okay, so why you should believe in God?
Well, why are we talking about a hypothetical vegetable person?
Okay, so then you've got so much things you enjoy in life, don't you? You've got so much emotion, and you must have a lot of hobbies, and life's a bit of a thrill, isn't it?
It's all right, yeah.
Well, it's all right, but it's it's thrilling. It's in our nature to have fun, and so what I'm saying,
it definitely
it's
has
fun being alive for the most part, yeah.
Life is a wicked party, yeah.
But then what counteracts that is stuff like we have to work, we have to do exams, things like that. There's always a counter. All the fun we're having, there's a counteracting to that. I can't just have unabashed, senseless fun because I got to work and I've got to go through a bit of hardship. Like, not everyone wants to work. Not everyone wants to do exams. Not women don't want to do childbirth, have childbirth. pregnancy. You don't want to do it, you have to do it. And that
sometimes life sucks. I'm not
That's
sure
what I
how
mean.
that proves God.
That's what I mean.
Okay, let's hear him out. Then let's hear him out.
And that's you as a fully functioning and emotional being. You're still gonna go through that shit whilst you go through all the good things that you're going through. So,
Okay.
so that means that this earth is not just to have fun. It's not paradise. It's not an unabashed, orgy of fun, because you have to work. You have to do other shit which you don't wanna. And
right, out of practical necessity, yes.
Yeah. So this earth isn't paradise. This earth, so we can't be gods on this earth because we can't have endless fun.
Why does God require endless fun? Why is that a requirement of a creator being?
No, so your fun is always negated by some troubles or some work you have to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying, so therefore God can't be on the earth because you can't have endless
No,
fun.
so-
And I'm asking you, why is a property of a creator entity that you must be able to have endless fun wherever it is, I guess? Is that the general idea?
Yeah, but that's the promise, that you can have endless fun. We all want to have endless fun. You know you do. I do.
Well, yeah, that's why they use it to sell the religion.
Exactly. So you have to
That's
feel
why they
it.
use it to net people into the bullshit.
It's not net people into bullshit.
Of course
It's to
it
give
is.
you. No, it's not logic. It's to give you hope of an existence that you will have fun forever.
Yeah, so that you'll do what they tell you to do to get it.
No, when religious people tell you to believe in, when they tell you to believe in God and believe in paradise and heaven and hell, they're not wanting to indoctrinate you. Shall I tell you what they're wanting? They're wanting.
No, they sincerely believe it. There's a lot of true believers, I know.
Yeah, but no logic. They're wanting you to enjoy paradise and enjoy happiness forever.
I know.
That's what it is.
That's why it's such an effective
That's why
virus.
That's why I'm making my little.
They're selling it.
That's why I'm making my little videos. It's not to show that I'm right. I want some people to enjoy hope, or the hope of eternal happiness.
Exactly.
Because we all want it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's what it is. We all want eternal happiness. Have you seen that movie?
I know you do. That's why I'm saying it's such an effective virus, because it convinces you to pass on the idea without even knowing that it's just been set up as a tool to make people pass it on.
Yeah, but
it's been set up in such a way that you will want to pass on the idea, and you don't even really understand.
You can feel it inside of you. You've got eternal power inside of you, Logic. You know you have sense it.
Yeah, I know you feel. I know religion makes you feel.
I can say I am eternal. I know, because my body, I know I am eternal. I feel it. I know there's no end to me. I know I am eternal. You feel
that's
that?
great. Well, that's wonderful that you feel it. People feel all kinds of different things. We were just talking about how people have emotions because of their brains.
Well, that's about it.
Brains are weird, man.
It's all about feeling things. It's all about having fun. That's what paradise is about. That's what we all want to have fun. I would love to have endless fun, eternal fun. That's fun is all it's about. It's all about fun. You take the fun out and there's no fun anymore. When the fun stops. So you can't say religious people are having fun and that's why they want to believe in God.
That is just so incredibly greedy. It's like,
No.
I just want to have unlimited fun, just endless fun.
Yeah,
and so I'm going to believe whoever tells me that I can.
Yeah, but what do they... No, but that's... Do you want to work? Do you want to do anything? You just want to have endless fun and other people have endless fun and everyone just have endless fun. That's the ideal.
That doesn't mean I believe I will, dude.
No, but that's the ideal scenario, that everyone has endless fun. And
that's wonderful that it's ideal. That doesn't make it true. That's not a reason to believe. That's just a reason to want to believe it.
I mean, let me just give you this example. If I try to sell you a car and say that this car will, you never have to put gas in it, it will run forever.
Yeah.
Okay, I've told you it. Would you then just assume that the car can do it? Would that, me telling you it, would that be evidence that the car really can run forever without you having to put gas on it?
Right. Obviously, I wouldn't agree to that because you're a human being.
But he feels it. He feels that the car can.
Yeah, I feel it really, really strongly.
He really feels like it can.
But you're a human.
When you press the gas, look how much get up and go that car has. I mean, this car could go forever, man.
If you were God and you told me that, and maybe I'd listen to you, but because you're a human being, I'm not.
God didn't tell you it. Your parents did.
No, it's in the Quran.
Yeah, your parents gave you an old book and said, read this and believe it.
It's in the Bible. It's in the Torah. It's in nearly every scripture.
I don't believe in those either, dude. They're just more books.
They're not. They
They
civilized us.
are. They're literally printed on paper in ink, passed
over the
down
years.
for thousands of fucking years.
No, over the years, they civilized us. Logic. God sent down all these books to slowly civilize us until we got to this technological, highly advanced age. We couldn't have got to this age, I believe, without those scriptures, because they increased our know-how, they increased our ability to interact with people. That's what I believe.
So the Quran is responsible for modern technology.
Maybe it improved our brains, the way we think, so that then leads to our interaction with people, then that leads to creating, innovating things for people. Do you understand? It's all connected, it's all linked.
You got anything, Micro?
I'm trying to figure out how to approach this argument.
That's why I asked you, man, because I don't even.
Like your talk.
It's not that like the problem with that argument is that, well, first of all, see how to put this. Let's just take the Bible as an example. Do you know how many times there has been a scientific advancement that the church has then been against? Like when Galileo looked through his telescope and saw that everything didn't revolve around the Earth.
Yeah.
That there were things revolving around Jupiter. It was the church, based on the Bible, who told him to shut up. Like, that doesn't seem like that book has promoted modern technology and modern science.
Right. No, but what did I say? What came after the Bible? The Quran. So the Bible's power.
Well,
the Quran had the real, like, after the Quran came, then all the innovativeness went to the Islamic world during the Middle Ages. You understand? There's a reason there's a reason for that. There's a reason why the Muslim world created the first universities and stuff like that. There's a reason why Muslim world during the Middle Ages became so.
Why did they stop? I mean, have they gotten like less religious?
No, they stopped because they started off the process, and then other people continued the process during the Enlightenment age, and then.
But I mean, you do know that a big part of the Enlightenment was like ignoring religion.
No, but the Islamic world created a lot of stuff, and then.
Yes, but okay. I don't disagree that there was a big scientific revolution in the.
They created stuff like the sewage system, lighting in the streets.
Yeah,
they created a lot of things, and then
But then you said that the people in the Enlightenment then took over, which is I can accept that to being sort of correct. But the people in the Enlightenment, they didn't like. The part of the Enlightenment was throwing out religion. Like they started ignoring it.
Part of it was, but all these thinkers, most of them believed in God during the Enlightenment. Most of them were believers.
Well, yeah, because everyone else was, but they didn't find these things because of religion. They found it because they found these things because they were curious.
Yeah, that's true. But the Enlightenment age is not connected with atheism. There's nothing there. They didn't say we're going to create this Enlightenment age and we're going to fully remove religion. They lessened the hardcoreness of religion, maybe.
Well, right? Yeah, which is my point. Like, I mean, did you know that like Newton could have figured out more about gravity, that if he actually stopped at some point and just said, I can't figure out how this works, exactly because he was religious. So religion in his case actually stopped him from figuring out more. I don't see how that's.
Yeah, but he was a deeply Christian individual. Newton.
Yeah, in other words, religion didn't help him.
But look how much he achieved. Look how much
religion.
Scientifically. and he was a deeply religious person.
Yeah, but he also religion also was the religion was ultimately what prevented him from taking that further.
But no, what prevented him from taking it further was he had exhausted his intellectual capacities. But
no, he was still able to intellectually figure it out, but he threw it aside and refused to accept some of the later things he found because they didn't fit with his religious views.
And were they found out later to be true?
Yes.
Like what?
I can't remember the exact. It has to do with the orbits. There were some parts of them that he. I still remember it. There were some parts of it where he refused to accept. I think it was. I can't remember the exact part, but it is something to like. I know that there's something to do with the orbits and gravity. There was part of them that he wouldn't accept. Because of his belief in God.
But where does it say in the Bible that the planets? What, I don't understand.
It doesn't, but he interpreted it like that.
Well, that's not religious. It's just his interpretation. Like the Quran does talk about the planets being in orbit.
But I mean, like I'm pretty sure if you asked Newton, that was like if you went back in time and asked him, I'm pretty sure he would tell you that was part of it. That's part of his religion.
I'm not sure. I don't understand what he was thinking. That's something that nobody will know. You can't say he never did this because of his religion, because you don't understand. You can't read his mind. You can't read his intention. You can't read what he was doing in life at that time. He never did. He write letters about this or something?
So we're just straight up arguing about the opinions of Isaac Newton now.
I just brought him up as
we
an
reached
example.
The bottom of the barrel of what we want to talk about at this point.
He's at the top of the barrel. Isaac Newton, an absolutely fascinating man. But, yeah.
So what do you think? Should we start wrapping it up, or?
I think this is a good endpoint.
Yeah,
I know people are loving it, so it's great that you came on, though, man.
Yeah, I think we have talked a lot. How long has it been? It's halftime. We started at 7:30.
Yeah, I think it's been maybe about 3 hours.
Actually. It's been a
something
blast
like that.
To understand like how you're thinking, and then you guys to understand how I'm thinking. It's
yeah, it's really interesting, and I didn't intend for this to be like all religious argument all the time, but it's actually like it's fun though.
Yeah, it's good talk.
Yeah, it's fun. That's exactly it. It's like,
hopefully you feel good about it, like you didn't walk into some sort of I don't know,
what
I don't know, like walk into a conversation and all of a sudden it's just like, hey, let me ask you about this and let me ask you about that. And
no,
interrogation. And interrogation is the word I'm looking for.
No, I'm grateful that you got me on, because I'm not exactly a big YouTuber or anything, but
if you're into this ever again, like I'm totally, this was actually a really good conversation, and people were loving it as well. So
I'm not. Where were the comments?
We can totally do this more.
Are there like live comments? Are there live comments on here or something?
Yes, there is.
On the on the video page.
And they will I'm assuming Logic is gonna keep this hangout up, and if it does, then they should still stay on the stream. They will replay the comments.
If you want to do it again, just talk about maybe not so religious things, but just talk about anything. I'd be happy to, because obviously, like, we've not talked about religion before, so we had to get it off our chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we covered a lot of it, so I mean, I guess there's always
Nearly
more
everything.
to cover, but
yeah, there's always more to cover.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna enjoy my mum's food downstairs now, even though it's half 10 here at night, which is like sleeping time.
Yeah, it's getting pretty late there. All right, but I'll let you go then. Thanks everyone in the chat, everyone watching, for showing up. I hope you found it interesting. People seem to, so that's great. Thank you, Abubaker, for coming in.
Thank you for having me
again sometime, or at least talk on Twitter or whatever. So
yeah, it would be great to come back again. I just want to see, did they enjoy your viewers? I wish I put the live. I've never done Hangouts. I've done Skype, but I've not. Where is the comments like?
You have to actually go to the video page. I'll link you to it afterwards, because once the video processes, like after the Hangout, it should
I'm sorry I didn't read the comments. That would have been nice to see what people are saying and stuff. But could you
Yeah,
still
I
see
guess
the
I should have mentioned it.
could I still see the comments after you finished?
Yeah,
it?
they will. YouTube has it set up so that when you watch the,
Okay.
if
Yeah,
you
I'll
watch
read-
the,
I'll read-
Yeah, it
the-
has essentially like a replay, a chat replay.
yeah, it replays it.
It's a fairly
I'll
new feature.
read
They
through
didn't
the
have
comments
that
and see it.
before.
I'll read through the comments and see what people said and I'll reply back or whatever.
Yeah, and there'll be actual comments on the video as well, because like there's the chat, but then there'll also be like comments on the actual video.
Yeah.
Like
Once
on
it
any other
processes.
video.
It'll
I'll just-
take a few hours at least to
What, to read
process
through
and
the
be actually up.
comments?
So
No.
what's that?
No. So yeah, okay. So
All right, cool, man. Well, thanks a lot
Yeah.
for coming by, and talk
Thank
to
you.
you later.
yeah. So that's it then.
I'll stop the broadcast, and then we can.
How does this thing end? Does it?
I'll just stop the broadcast. All right, see you later, everybody.